turn it on. It goes on. Test 1, 2. All right, I think we finally have it fixed. Dinker swings and misses. So here's your situation. Thank you so much for putting up with us. I know it's very frustrating if you're on your end, and you can imagine the frustration on my part as well as Dinker goes down swinging. So let me go ahead and bring you up to date on what's going on here in the ball game. As Ty Morrison started off with a walk, Abel Nieves flew out to right field for the first out of the inning. Then Kevin Taylor doubled. That put runners at second and third. Dennis Phipps then walked, and that made the bases loaded, and Travis Dinker just struck out. Here's J.D. Pulfer stepping into the batter's box for the first time. No score in the ball game, just underway. We're in the first inning. John Link is the pitcher. He throws home, and it misses high for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Pulfer. Lemurs have lost the first 2 games of this series. They're trying to salvage the last game, and they need a big hit here to get a little rally going. Last thing they want to do is load the bases and get nothing out of it. So here's John Link delivering, and that one is swung and missed. No balls and 2 strikes to the batter, J.D. Pulfer. Pulfer in yesterday's game for the Laredo Lemurs, he started off in the leadoff spot. He ended up going 1 for 5. So manager Pete Gavilla has changed up the lineup a little bit here for the first time since the new players from Gary have arrived. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch swung on, and a liner into right field. That's going to be a base hit. It's going to roll for a while. In fact, it's going to go all the way to the wall. Here comes 1 run. That's Morrison. Here comes another. That's Taylor. Phipps is being waved home. Here comes the throw. He's in safely, and the Lemurs jump out to a 3-0 lead. And a nice start for Laredo. A good celebration going on in the Lemurs dugout right now. They're excited about the opportunity that was just created there. That's going to be a double for the batter, J.D. Pulfer, taking it to the right side of the field. And he grabs 3 RBIs, so he clears off the bases. That's a big play there for Laredo. So they strike early against a very tough pitcher, John Link. And now into the batter's box is Drew Martinez. Martinez swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls it away. Martinez batted in the 9 spot yesterday. He finds himself up in the order today a little bit, batting in the 7 hole. Juan Silverio is on deck, and then Phil Pohl, the catcher, in the 9 spot. So if you just logged on, I know there's a few people out there watching right now. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Here's a line drive down the left field line, and that's going to go foul. Of course, the internet here a little bit unstable in Wichita. So we are doing our best to get a good, clean feed for you. And I believe the audio is going to be okay. The video might be a little bit rough for you throughout the broadcast during today's ball game. So I apologize about all that, but really nothing we can do about it as we travel throughout the league. It's up to the team that's the home team to provide the good internet. So I have had to use a hotspot in the past. Unfortunately, the hotspot is all out of hotspot power. So Drew Martinez looking at a count of no balls and 2 strikes. The pitch swung in a liner up the middle, but the shortstop, Taylor Smart, is there. He'll make the catch, but that'll do it for the Lemurs. They do come up with 3 runs in the inning. It was 3 runs on 2 hits, a couple of doubles, 1 by Taylor, 1 by Pulfer. And the Lemurs go ahead 3-0 here. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
Breakfast speaks for itself here at Whataburger. It's going to be hot, it's going to be fresh.
It's almost like when you were a kid and you wake up in the morning, you can smell mom cooking breakfast.
I like their hash browns.
My favorite's the honey butter chicken biscuit. I like the taquitos.
We have some fresh cracked eggs here.
I like these pancakes because they're fluffy.
I really like the fact that you can get into Whataburger real fast and bring it on the go.
We're cooking breakfast for you at Whataburger.
Falcon Bank and the Laredo Lemurs are a winning combination. At Falcon, they know what counts: personalized service, attention to detail, and genuine commitment to helping customers achieve their dreams. Falcon Bank, guided by faith, grounded by family, and committed to you. For all of your vehicle collision repair and paint needs, there's only one place to turn: Mike's Paint Place. Mike's Paint Place has computerized color matching and digital imaging. They also do full frame and suspension repairs. Stop by and see Mike's Paint Place today at 6410 Polaris Drive in Laredo.
Hey, Lemurs fans, every Thursday night at Uni-Trade Stadium is a Thirsty Thursday. Come on out and enjoy cold Miller Lite draft beers for only $1. That's right, beer for $1. You can get tickets online at LaredoLemurs.com or by phone at 956-7-Lemurs. I'll see you at the ballpark.
Uni-Trade continues foreign trade through a highly satisfactory customs brokerage service. Uni-Trade has quality trained personnel devoted to the highest level of customer service. For all your transportation, distribution, and consolidation needs, it's Uni-Trade. Chavarrias Plumbing's the #1 choice for any plumbing problem. Chavarrias is a full-service company with up-to-date technology trained professionals. With over 30 years of service to the community, Chavarrias is still growing strong. Visit chavarriasplumbing.com and go Lemurs!
All right, let's go and get you the lineup for the Wichita Wingnuts. Nick Van Stratton's leading off, playing out in center field. Jace Ray's in right field, batting second. David Espinoza will play first base. He'll bat in the 3 spot. Andy LaRoche is the designated hitter. He'll bat fourth. TJ Middlestad's the third baseman. He'll bat in the 5 spot. Harrison Kane in left field, batting sixth. Brent Dean will do the catching today, batting seventh. Taylor Smart will bat eighth and play shortstop. And Leo Vargas is at second base, batting in the 9 spot. So today, the Wichita Wingnuts wearing their brownish camouflage uniforms. They have their white pants on. The Laredo Lemurs wearing their all gray uniforms with black numbers and letters. 3-0 Laredo as they jump out ahead in this ball game. And here's the first pitch to Nick Van Stratton, and that one is inside for a ball. So a fastball from Paredes. Paredes making his second start in a Laredo Lemurs uniform. He's primarily worked as a reliever. His very first outing for Laredo was as a starter. This pitch misses low for a ball. It goes bouncing back up into the stands. So 3-0 Laredo. Nick Van Stratton in yesterday's ball game ended up going 1 for 3. Also walked once and scored a run in the 7-5 win for Wichita. Here's the next pitch, a fastball on the outside corner, placed very well there by Paredes. He's now looking at a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, gorgeous day here in Wichita. Here's the pitch, and that's low. Your game time temperature was 69 degrees. And the game started at 1:11 today. So you missed a little bit of that. Wanted to make sure we brought you up to date on the game time temp. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Van Stratton. He takes it right down the middle for a strike, just a little bit below the belt, a fastball from Paredes. 3 balls and 2 strikes, says the scoreboard now. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. And that's strike 3. Van Stratton goes down swinging. We don't see that too often out of Nick Van Stratton. He doesn't strike out a whole lot. Jace Ray coming up to the plate. So Willie Paredes for the Laredo Lemurs starting the day with an 0-1 record, a 4.37 ERA. And Paredes, in his last 2 outings, both of them were relief outings, and both of them came against the Wichita Wingnuts. His first outing, like I said, was against this club. That was all the way back on July 24th. Here's the pitch to Ray, a left-handed batter. He takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. So a fastball there, good pitch from Willie Paredes. And Paredes' outing in Wichita, he went against Wichita back at home in Laredo. The pitch is low. He ended up going 3 1/3 and gave up a run on 5 hits. He walked a batter and struck out 2 that day, and that was his very first appearance in a Lemurs uniform. So he has pitched 3 times so far against Wichita this season, this one being the 4th. The 1-1 pitch misses outside. Your umpires today, Chance Wilson behind the plate, Tyler Thurmond at first base, Brian Child is at third. So that's your umpiring crew. We'll get to the Lemurs defensive lineup here in just a second. 2 balls and 1 strike, 3-0 Laredo. Here's the delivery, swung in a ground ball, couple of hops, past Travis Danker, and it's a foul ball. So Danker actually got to the ball, but it was a little bit behind him when he made the catch. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here's the defense for Laredo. They have Morrison in left, Martinez in center, Phipps over in right. Silverio playing third base, Pulfer at shortstop, Nieves at second, and Danker over at first. Phil Pohl behind the plate. So Willie Paredes overall making his 10th appearance for the Laredo Lemurs, and this is his 2nd start of the season. He peers over the mitt, and he'll go into the full windup. Here it comes on the 2-2, and that one misses way outside. Making sure he grabs it is Phil Pohl behind the plate. So the batter, Jace Ray, batting .305 on the year, one of 3 guys in the batting order for the Wichita Wingnuts that has over a 300 batting average. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That one misses away. That's ball 4. So base runner for the Wichita Wingnuts. Jace Ray, one of the guys in the top 5 in the American Association in earning walks. That's his 50th walk right there. He's currently 5th in the league in that category. So he's got a good eye, and here comes another guy with a good eye at the plate. David Espinoza coming up to the plate. Espinoza is currently 2nd in the league in earning walks. He has walked 72 times on the season. So Jace Ray over there, he's going to go and extend his lead. He can steal a bag from time to time. He's got 15 of them, and now they have him in a pickle. Willie Paredes is going to go over. He throws to Danker, and Paredes got in the way. They're going to go ahead and give Ray an obstruction call on the defense. And that's going to send Ray over to second base. So we'll see how they score that one, but what happened was Paredes had him picked off. He ran over there. He threw the ball to Danker, ended up going right through the running lane of Jace Ray, and Ray ran into him on his thigh. So you can't do that. So that gave the runner the extra bag, and he goes up to second base. So a runner at second base and 1 out. And the pitch to David Espinoza misses outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So 1-0, David Espinoza on the season batting .297. He looks at a pitch here. It's on the outside corner for a strike, another fastball. Espinoza in yesterday's game ended up going 1 for 4. He picked up a double in his last at bat. That was in the 7th inning. Paredes working out of the stretch. Now, from time to time here today, you might hear some loud noises. And that's because they're having jet ski races over in the river across the street from the ballpark. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Low and outside. So when we got here today, it was around 11:20. And there were some jet skis out there running some heats. And they have a bunch of buoys out there in the river. And, you know, they go 3, 4, 5 at a time, and they're all running around the buoys and making their way up and down the river. It's pretty neat to watch. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Paredes. That one swung on and tapped foul at the plate. So I'll make the count 3 balls and 2 strikes now to the Wichita Wingnuts number 3 hitter, David Espinoza. Espinoza playing first base today. Andy LaRoche has been playing first base over the last couple of days, but LaRoche has been moved into the designated hitter spot for Wichita. So a full count to Espinoza. Willie Paredes looking for the 2nd out of the inning. We're in the bottom of the 1st. So pull on up a chair. Enjoy the beautiful afternoon here in Wichita with us. The 3-2 pitch misses outside. Another walk. 2nd straight walk given up by Paredes. It looks like he's trying to be a little bit too fine there, and that's going to bring Mike Meyer out of the dugout for the Laredo Lemurs. He's going to go talk to Willie. Willie's trying to hit those outside corners, and he's just missing the plate a little bit. So Mike Meyer going to go up there and have a conversation with Paredes. He probably sees exactly what's going on. He's going to try to get him back into the strike zone. If he can do that, that'll be a big help. If you could just hit that corner, you could have so much success, but of course, it's just a fine line between hitting that corner and not hitting that corner. These guys have good eyes. It's amazing what they can lay off of. Especially this Wingnuts team. Wichita Wingnuts lead the league in walks. And into the batter's box goes Andy LaRoche. And Paredes will bring it home, and the first pitch misses inside, low and inside, in fact. Yeah, the Wingnuts have 354 walks on the season. The next closest team has 316 walks, and that's the St. Paul Saints. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. Lemurs are currently 4th in the league in walks. 1 ball, 1 strike. LaRoche in yesterday's game, he had a nice day, ended up going 3 for 4. He scored 2 runs, had 2 doubles, and an RBI. Runners at first and second base and 1 out. The pitch. It's low and outside. So 2 balls and 1 strike. So LaRoche is going to take a little bit of a walk. He needs a breather. So right back into the batter's box he goes. He taps the plate once. Willie Paredes gets the sign from Phil Pohl. Wind is blowing in from left field right now. Here's the 2-1. Right at the knees, right down the middle, and the reaction from LaRoche says he thought it was low, but the Lemurs get the call. So that'll make it a 2-2 count. And there goes the jet skis. At least there was one of them. Maybe he's doing a warm-up lap. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Swung on and a fly ball. Foul. That one got up and over the ballpark very quickly. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So as the Lemurs start the day against the Wichita Wingnuts, they currently sit 7 games out of first place. So it's going to be a long road ahead for the Lemurs to try to win the division. Virtually impossible at this point. Here's the 2-2. That one misses low and inside. But until you're eliminated, you never know what can happen in baseball. You know, someone could get hurt on the Wichita Wingnuts. Not that we wish that by any means, but it could happen. And next thing you know, the Laredo Lemurs go on a winning streak, and Wichita goes into a slide, and the Lemurs could go ahead and win the division. But right now, the Lemurs are 1 game up in the wild card race. Here's the pitch. It's low and inside, and 3 straight walks by Paredes. And that's going to load the bases for the Wingnuts. So the Lemurs had the bases loaded, and they picked up a big double by Pulfer in their half of the first inning. And that cleared off the base paths. And now the Wichita Wingnuts have that same opportunity. And they have 1 out. And the base is loaded, and the batter's TJ Middlestat, a guy that was very hot in yesterday's ball game. Middlestat yesterday had 2 home runs and a single. He ended up driving in a total of 3 yesterday. Here's the pitch. Paredes throws a pitch on the inner third of the plate, a fastball right at the knees. So the first one's in there for a strike. So that's what you got to do. You got to work ahead. If you're working from behind, the batters know you got to come across the plate sooner or later. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Swung on and a slash into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Coming in to score is Ray. Right behind him is Espinoza. Here comes the throw, the block of the plate. The tag is in time, and the Lemurs get the out at the plate. Nicely done there by Dennis Phipps. A good solid throw. So 1 run comes in to score for Wichita. Espinoza is out coming to the plate on the 9-2 put out. That'll be the 2nd out of the inning. Andy LaRoche ends up going up to third base, and TJ Middlestat has a single and an RBI. So he hangs in there at first. And that'll bring up Harrison Kane now for the Wichita Wingnuts. So with runners at the corners, Phil Pohl's going to give a few signs to the Laredo Lemurs defense, let them know exactly what to do if that runner from first base decides to break. So it's a 3-1 ball game in favor of the Laredo Lemurs. 2 outs in the inning, so the Lemurs are not away from getting out of it. Here's the pitch to Kane, and that one's bounced in the dirt. It bounces about a foot out in front of home plate, and Phil Pohl really does a nice job blocking that one. So 1 ball and 1 strike. It's funny how quick catchers can be when they need to be.
especially out of that crouching position. Get into a crouch right now. Go ahead. Get into a catcher's crouch and see how fast you are. Here's the 1-0 pitch swung on and popped up over our heads. Or better yet, get in a crouch and have somebody throw a ball at you, maybe just one of those soft tennis balls or something, and see how good you are at blocking that ball. Go ahead and send me a message. Let me know how you do. Because it's not easy. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kane. The runner from first goes. The pitch is low, and there's going to be no throw from Phil. So Middlestadt gets a stolen base. Middlestadt now with 11 stolen bases on the season. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to the former Lemur, Harrison Kane. Kane batting .279 since coming over and starting to play with Wichita. When he was with Sioux Falls earlier this year, he hit .253. He sees a pitch that misses someplace. That one might have been low. That's the only place it could possibly be because it was right over the plate, pretty much right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Kane with runners at second and third. And the pitch. That's called a strike on the outside corner. Good nibble job there by Willie Paredes. So now he's worked the count full. So he's throwing a lot of pitches here in the first inning. A lot of 3-ball counts. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Low, ball 4. 4th walk in the inning given up by Willie Paredes in his spot start for the Laredo Lemurs. And Brent Dean coming up to the plate. Well, this is really the last thing the Lemurs needed, was to score a 3 spot in the top of the first inning and to have their starting pitcher come out and give up 4 walks in the inning. Only 1 run has come in to score, so a benefit so far for Laredo. But they need to try to get at least 5 innings out of Willie Paredes. And the way he's going right now, he's going to be lucky to get through 3 or 4. Here's the pitch. And it's low to Brent Dean. So Brent Dean's the number 2 catcher. He's batting .273. He's played in 57 games so far. They try to get him in at the end of the ball games, especially when they're up big. So they do a nice job of that. But a .273 batting average for him. He's got 50 hits and 183 at-bats. And the bases are loaded for the Wingnuts now. The pitch. That one's right at the letters. A strike. Brent Dean on the year with 19 RBIs. 3-1 Laredo. Bottom of the first inning. Each team has seen the bases loaded in the first inning. The 1-1 pitch swung on and a pop-up over to the right, and that's going to get out of play over by the sweet spot here at the ballpark at lovely Lawrence Dumont Stadium. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brent Dean batting in the 7th spot. That will mean Taylor Smart is on deck. So Paredes out of the stretch. He sets high, up by the shoulder, and the delivery is low and inside. So a 2-2 count. Lemurs head home after this ball game. They got a 3-game set coming up against the Grand Prairie Air Hogs back at home. Lemurs have to take care of business here first, though. Trying to get a win against a very tough Wingnuts club. The 2-2 pitch swung on and a fly ball hit into right field. Dennis Phipps going towards the right field line. He's in foul territory. The ball is going to fall. So that one will give Brent Dean another opportunity to swing the bat. Phipps just could not get to it. It was pretty far out of his way, and he was playing closer to the gap than he was towards the line. Lemurs this year against the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, they're 7-6, so just a game over 500 against the Air Hogs. The Air Hogs have the worst record in the American Association, but they played tough against the Laredo Lemurs. Grand Prairie with a record of 28-57. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it comes. That one swung on, ground ball up the middle, ranging for it, Nieves. Nieves will go to the ground. He quickly throws over to the shortstop at second, but it's not going to be in time. It's going to be an infield base hit.
for Brent Dean. LaRoche comes in to score. It's a 3-2 game. Middlestat gets over to third base. Kane is safe at second on the play. And Dean, I would think, would be given a base hit there.
Batting for the Wingnuts, the shortstop, number 5, Taylor Smart.
So here's Taylor Smart coming up to the plate. So it's a 3-2 game in favor of the Lemurs. And Taylor Smart will be the batter. Taylor Smart went 0 for 4 yesterday, but in the first game of the series, he got 3 hits. He sees the pitch, he shows bunt and pulls back. The bases are still loaded for the Wingnuts. 1 ball and no strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Yeah, the Lemurs this year against Wichita, they're 6-10. So they're 3-6 here at this ballpark and 3-4 at home at Uni-Trade Stadium against Wichita. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball away. The Lemurs' lifetime against Wichita are 13-31. And it's really been a tough time against the Wingnuts. When the Lemurs started off back in 2012, the Wichita Wingnuts were not in their division. They were in the Central Division. And in fact, they were there for the first 2 years when the Lemurs were playing ball in the American Association. El Paso was in the South. Here's the 2-0. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and 1 strike. So when El Paso went under after the 2013 season, that opened up a spot in the South Division. They were trying to make it balanced down there in the South so they'd have 4 teams, and they added the most southern team, which was the Wichita Wingnuts. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low. That was a fastball from Paredes. So now it's 3 balls and a strike. 2 outs. Bases loaded for the Wingnuts. So that first year in 2012, Wichita ended up winning the Central Division Championship. And they lost in the championship game to Winnipeg, or the championship series. 3-1 pitch, swung on a ground ball over to Silverio. Silverio drops the ball. He recovers, throws to first. It's not going to be in time. The Lemurs have let the Wingnuts right back in it, as an error will score the run from third base, and the bases are still loaded, and the Wingnuts still have a big opportunity. So here's Leo Vargas coming up to the plate. So 9 batters coming up to the plate for Wichita. 4 walks in the inning, an error in the inning, and a bunch of craziness going on. It's now a 3-3 tie. Here's the first pitch to Leo Vargas. He takes a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. Now, the Lemurs got off to such a good start in the top of the inning. Here's the pitch. That one misses low and inside. And you expected a little momentum for the Lemurs on defense going out there, and then all of a sudden, a strikeout first and then a couple of walks, and the Lemurs are in trouble. So we got a 3-3 tie. So it's a whole new ball game here. So now Paredes can go ahead and settle down. We'll play as if the second inning is the start of the game. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Bunt shown, bunted at Silverio. He'll charge the ball. He'll grab it barehanded. He throws to first, and it's going to be in time to get the out. A close play at first base, but definitely an out over there at first. But the game is tied up at 3 apiece. 3 runs come in to score. There was 1 base hit, 4 walks, an error, and 3 left. We're going to go to the top of the second inning. We're all knotted up at 3 apiece. Oh, boy.
Core Business Solutions is a proud sponsor of Lemurs Baseball. Core Business Solutions services the 17 southernmost counties of Texas, as well as areas of northern Mexico. They offer a wide range of high-tech solutions for businesses and organizations. Make Core Business Solutions your solution today.
Tokyo Garden of Laredo is located at 2515 East Del Mar Boulevard, and they serve the best sushi in town. Stop by Tokyo Garden for a quick lunch or a fancy dinner. Either way, you're going to enjoy our fine cuisine. Did you just get off work? Then come on by and check out our happy hour specials. Tokyo Garden, where you'll find the best sushi in Laredo.
Right now, when you sign up for a Gold's Gym membership, you'll get tons of extras completely free. Confidence, free. Compliments from your coworkers, free. And the desire to wear tiny bathing suits, You guessed it, free. You'll be stronger with extras, and you'll be stronger with Gold's Gym. Know your own strength. Tiny bathing suit not included.
Pro Mega Signs of Laredo is there for all of your printing and signage needs. We can be found at 1615 Jackman Road in Laredo, or you can reach us by phone at 956-723-2110. Again, that's 956-723-2110. If you need a sign, big or small, come to Pro Mega Signs of Laredo, where your print job is just around the corner.
Miller invented light beer, the original light Pilsner, and that changed everything. This led to people wondering L-I-T-E, that's how you spell light, which led to people thumbing through their dictionaries, which led to there's got to be a better way to look up words, which led to the invention of spell check, which led to better resumes, promotions, celebrations, and happy hour. Miller Lite, we invented light beer and happy hour. You're welcome. 12 ounces contain 96 calories, 3.2 carbs, 1 protein, 0 fat. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A 3-3 tie as we go to the second inning. Coming up for the Laredo Lemurs, Juan Silverio is going to lead off. He'll be followed up by Phil Pohl, and then the top of the order, Ty Morrison. So 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order for Laredo. So here's Silverio. So 3 runs on each side, 2 hits on each side, but the Lemurs have made 2 errors in the ballgame so far. And the first pitch is swung on, hit high and deep into right center field. On the run is Van Stratton and Ray. It's going to be Ray getting there and making the catch in front of the warning track. 1 down. I only had 1 error. Yes, the Paredes error. When he got Jace Ray into a pickle. That's probably where they have the other error. So we'll try to run that down for you between innings and let you know exactly where it's at. So Phil Pohl into the batter's box for Laredo. John Link into the wind and the throw home, and that's a fastball in the inside corner at the knee. John Link starting the day with a 6-0 record through 7 starts. He's got a 1.51 ERA through 35 2/3 innings. The next pitch swung on and missed. So the Lemurs were able to jump on him in the first inning. Unfortunately, if you let this guy settle down, he can be really good, as you can tell by his 6-0 record and his 1.51 ERA. No balls and 2 strikes. Into the full windup Link, and the pitch is swung on and fouled away. So that one gets up and over the ballpark.
Courtesy of our friends at Dinger's Roofing and Construction.
So Phil Pohl, one of the newcomers for the Laredo Lemurs.
Dinger's Roofing and Construction, your home team
At the plate so far this year, he's batting .409. He's got a couple of hits in this series. He's picked up 2 so far in 6 at-bats. Here's the 0-2 delivery, called strike 3. A fastball right on the outside corner at the thigh.
Every season starts at Dick's.
So Phil Pohl with a little bit of a conversation as he heads back into the dugout with the home plate umpire. And quickly 2 outs for the Lemurs. So we go up to the top of the order for Ty Morrison. Morrison batting .352 as he steps into the batter's box. A 3-3 tie with 2 down in the second inning. The pitch, bunt shown and bunted foul by Ty Morrison. No balls and 1 strike. Morrison walked in his first at bat. He came around to score a run when J.D. Pulfer picked up a double with the bases loaded. Pulfer lined the ball into right field, and the ball went all the way out to the wall to clear off the bases. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball low and inside, just above the feet of Ty Morrison.
Number 35, Ty Morrison.
Ty Morrison against Wichita this year. He's 17 for 51. He's got a .333 batting average against the Wingnuts. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and grounded foul at the third baseline. So Morrison playing in his 14th game of the year against this club, playing in his 41st game overall on the season for the Laredo Lemurs. And he has not missed a game as far as I can remember. He joined the team back on July 6th. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The pitch, swung on and a ground ball over to the third baseman. Middlestad is there, right from the bag at 30, does a 1-hop throw over to Espinoza. Espinoza will grab it, and that's going to be the third and final out. So the Lemurs go down in order. And we're through an inning and a half. We're all tied up at 3 apiece.
In over 40 years, nobody's helped more families achieve the American dream of home ownership than Armadillo. In fact, Armadillo Homes has built more homes than all other builders combined. And there are reasons for this: integrity, responsibility, service, and of course, quality. So if you're thinking about making the greatest investment in your life, think of the one builder who's dedicated its entire life to helping the Laredo family. Think Armadillo Homes, armadillohomes.com. Go Lemurs.
We all know we can accomplish more when we're ready. That's why I've chosen Texas A&M International University. I want a 4-year degree and the opportunities that it brings. TAMU has welcomed me and more than 7,000 students from around the world. TAMU empowers me to greatness, ignites my mind, and propels me to my future and my impact. Imagine the possibilities when you're powered by TAMU.
Register now for summer and fall. Visit tamu.edu and get powered.
Since Extending Technologies opened for business in 1998, they have worked to establish solid relationships with their clients. They are set to maintain the highest standards of service and integrity and to perform work of only the highest quality, achieving client satisfaction on every project. They have attained these goals through a tradition of care and professional pride. They serve a wide range of corporations and small business franchises. Extending Technologies has the tools and expertise for any technical need that your business may have. Call us here in Laredo at 725-2654. That's 725-2654 for Ascending Technologies.
Todos sabemos que podemos lograr más cuando estamos listos. Por eso.
All right, so the Wingnuts coming back up to the plate as we go to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be at the top of the order again. Nick Van Stratton to start it off. He'll be followed up by Jace Ray and then David Espinoza to the plate for Wichita. So they've had good crowds here over the weekend. Today is no exception. They got a pretty nice crowd here on a Sunday afternoon as Nick Van Stratton takes the first pitch low and inside. Yesterday, really good attendance here at the ballpark, 4,858. Not too shabby. Here's the 1-0. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike, just at the belt of Nick Van Stratton. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Nick in his first at bat, he struck out swinging. So that was the first out in the bottom of the first inning, and the 1-1 pitch swung and grounded foul up the third baseline. And Kevin Hooper, the manager and third base coach, will grab that one. And Hooper throws it into the stands for some fans to enjoy. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Van Stratton. Paredes rocks and fires, and that one is swung on and missed. Held on to by the catcher Phil Pull, and Van Stratton has struck out twice.
Right fielder number 4.
Here comes Jace Ray to the plate. Jace Ray with the .305 batting average. He's picked up 91 hits this year. He walked in his first at bat, and he ended up coming around to score a run. Remember, he was at first base when he got picked off by Paredes, and then Paredes threw the ball over to Danker when they were trying to get him in a pickle. Here's a ground ball on 2 hops over to Danker. Danker will underhand toss to Paredes. Paredes is there to make the catch. And that'll take care of Jace Ray. So 2 down quickly. So yeah, Ray was at first base, and Paredes picked him off with a throw over to first. Danker had the ball as Ray started to take off, and Paredes ran towards Ray and tried to get him back to first base, and as he threw the ball back to Danker, Paredes ran in front of Jace Ray, and they ended up hitting legs, which gave Jace Ray second base for free. So here's David Espinoza. He also walked. In fact, it was 3 straight walks to the Wingnuts batters, to the 2, 3, and 4 guy in the last half inning when Paredes was out there on the mound. So he's looking for a 1, 2, 3 inning here. Here's the pitch, and it's low. Fastball to get things going. One ball and no strikes. Paredes looks over his mitt. He'll throw home. That one is taken outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the batter, David Espinoza. And the pitch. It's low for a ball. David Espinoza last year got traded over here from Kansas City He was with the T-Bones for the majority of the season and then ended up with the Wichita Wingnuts down the stretch. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that's ball 4. So Espinoza earns a walk, and that'll bring up Andy LaRoche. So 2 walks for Espinoza in the ball game. I told you earlier he was second in the league to start the day with 72 walks. The guy in front of him is Middlestead, so actually throughout this game, Espinoza has taken over the #1 spot in walks in the American Association. We'll have to see how it ends up after the end of the day. Here's Andy LaRoche. First pitch to LaRoche is inside. 1 ball and no strikes. We're all tied up at 3 apiece. LaRoche can play third, second, first base. Might even be able to play some outfield. But primarily in the big leaguers, he's been an infielder. Toss over to first base. Back in safely is Espinoza. He's played a lot of first and a lot of third in Major League Baseball, but has also seen some time in the outfield. 1 ball and no strikes. And Paredes, the right-handed pitcher, brings his hands together. He throws home. And it's on the inside corner for a strike. Good pitch there. Lemurs are not away from getting back into the dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. A tough customer at the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and chopped off the plate. Silverio will get to it. Before he hits the lip of the grass, he'll make the throw over to first base. It's in time to get the out. And that does it for the Wichita Wingnuts. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We're through 2 innings. We're all knotted up at 3 apiece. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
Tokyo Garden of Laredo is located at 2515 East Del Mar Boulevard, and they serve the best sushi in town. Stop by Tokyo Garden for a quick lunch or a fancy dinner. Either way, you're going to enjoy our fine cuisine. Did you just get off work? Then come on by and check out our happy hour specials. Tokyo Garden, where you'll find the best sushi in Laredo.
Right now, when you sign up for a Gold's Gym membership, you'll get tons of extras completely free. Confidence, free. Compliments from your coworkers, free. And the desire to wear tiny bathing suits, you guessed it, free. You'll be stronger with extras, and you'll be stronger with Gold's Gym. Know your own strength. Tiny bathing suit not included.
Pro Mega Signs of Laredo is there for all of your printing and signage needs. We can be found at 1615 Jackman Road in Laredo, or you can reach us by phone at 956-723-2110. Again, that's 956-723-2110. If you need a sign, big or small, come to Pro Mega Signs of Laredo, where your print job is just around the corner.
Miller invented light beer, the original light Pilsner, and that changed everything. This led to people wondering L-I-T-E, that's how you spell light, which led to people thumbing through their dictionaries, which led to there's got to be a better way to look up words, which led to the invention of spell check, which led to better resumes, promotions, celebrations, and happy hour. Miller Lite, we invented light beer and happy hour. You're welcome. 12 ounces contain 96 calories, 3.2 carbs, 1 protein, 0 fat. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
In over
All right, Abel Nieves leads it off for Laredo. It's Abel Nieves, Kevin Taylor, and Dennis Phipps coming up to the plate. And out there on the mound, John Link. So both Link and Paredes settled down in the 2nd inning. Link retires the side in order for the Lemurs. And Paredes walks 1 batter, but is able to get out of the inning after he faces the next. Here's the first pitch to Abel. That one misses low. Nieves in his first at bat today flew out to right field. Lemurs scored their 3 runs in the first, so did Wichita as we sit here in the top of the 3rd inning. The pitch swung on, and that's chopped off the plate. It'll come up and hit Nieves and bounce back out onto the field. So Nieves, a former member of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim organization. Here with the Lemurs this year. Played with Wichita a little bit last season. And was a mainstay here for a couple of years before that. 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch swung on, and a foul ball off to the right side.
That foul ball is brought to you by
Nieves back in 2013, in fact, had a breakout year with, which was the big one for him. The 2-1 pitch is low and away. So now 3 balls and, it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. It's hard to see the balls and strikes today because we're playing during the day. And they just have little tiny red dots out there. that light up on the scoreboard. Here's the 3-2. Swung and another foul ball off the bat of Nieves. In 2014, Nieves played for a couple of different teams, including the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, and then he was traded over here to play for the Wichita Wingnuts at the end of the year, and he helped this team go on and win the American Association title last year. The 3-2 again. That one's very high. Gets off the tip of the glove of Brent Dean and goes all the way back to the wall. So Nieves earns a walk. Kevin Taylor coming up to the plate. Taylor doubled back in the first inning. So he's off to a good start for the Laredo Lemurs.
Every Sunday, the Wingnuts.
Nieves this year against Wichita, he's batting .333, and he starts the day 6th in the league in hitting with a .335 batting average. So here's Taylor.
Designated hitter number 7, Kevin Taylor.
Taylor batting .323 as he starts the day, and of course with that double will go up a little bit. He's got 19 doubles now on the year. Here's the pitch from Link, bunt shown, and Taylor watches it go by outside. So 1 ball and no strikes. Kevin Taylor in yesterday's game went 1 for 3, scored a run, and that one hit was a home run. Helped Lemurs get within one late in the game. Next pitch comes over the plate for a strike, a fastball. And so it was a big hit at the time for the Laredo Lemurs. Ended up making it a 6-5 ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Wichita Wingnuts had that 1-run lead. They went on and grab another run and end up winning 7-5. Next pitch misses high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Kevin Taylor. 3 runs on 2 hits for each club, but the Lemurs have made 2 errors in the ball game. The wind has changed direction and is now blowing in from left field. Earlier today it was blowing out to left field. The 2-1 pitch. Misses low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Taylor, a former member of the Dodgers organization. He was drafted back in 2011 by the Dodgers. Played 3 seasons in the Dodgers organization. He made it up to low A ball. He played for the Great Lakes Loons. So a 3-1 pitch coming up here. Here it is. And it misses outside. Another walk. A day of walks. It's a nice day to take a walk in a park. And that's what the Lemurs are doing. Also, the Wichita Wingnuts have been taking walks. That's the 4th walk given up by John Link. Back in the first inning, Paredes gave up a couple of walks there. In fact, there was 3 in a row. He gave up a total of 4 in the first, and he walked a batter in the second inning. So Paredes has walked 5 batters. A visit to the mound by Luke Robertson. So Robertson's going to talk things over with his starting pitcher, John Link. This is probably the toughest outing John Link has had so far, with that 6-0 record under his belt so far this year. So they're probably not used to seeing him struggle out there on the hill this season. John Link, earlier this year, was pitching in AAA ball with New Orleans. He was pitching with the Zephyrs in the Pacific Coast League. They're part of the Miami Marlins organization. So he pitched in 6 games there at AAA. No balls and a strike. Yeah, Link has also seen time in the minor leagues with the Padres, the White Sox, the Dodgers, the Baltimore Orioles organization, and the Tigers organization. The next pitch swung on, hit high in the air into right field. Playable for Jace Ray. He's coming over, working towards the right field line. He'll get there and make the catch. Tagging at second base and heading to third is Nieves. Here comes the throw on 1 hop. Nieves slides in safely. A close play at third base, but a good call by the umpire. So now runners at the corners for the Lemurs. On the long fly ball there by Dennis Phipps. And credit to Jace Ray for making the throw over to third base and being pretty much on the money. So here's Travis Denker.
First baseman number 28, Travis Dinker.
So Denker coming up to the plate with the runners at the corners. Denker brought in here to help the Lemurs start driving in runs, and he's done so. Denker played in the Mexican League for most of the season. In fact, he played 110 games for Reynosa. The pitch swung on and fouled up and over our heads. So Danker earlier this year was playing for the Reynosa Broncos. And he batted .264 with them. He had 10 home runs and he had 70 RBIs. So far this year with the Laredo Lemurs, he is batting .333. Last year with Laredo, he hit .305 over 99 games. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, and that's one's tipped foul. Goes back to the screen. Danker was originally drafted by the Dodgers back in the 21st round back in 2003. He started his professional career that very same year. He spent time with the South Georgia Wave in the Gulf Coast League with the Dodgers, putting up a .264 average with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs over 46 games. No balls and 2 strikes. Runners at the corners for the Lemurs, 1 out. And one of their big hitters, Danker, in the batter's box. The pitch, he checked his swing. They'll check and see if he went around. He did not. Danker spent the entire 2004 season with the Ogden Raptors, with whom he hit .311 with 12 home runs and 43 RBIs in 57 games. In 2005, he split time between the Columbus Catfish and the Vero Beach Dodgers, combining for a .281 batting average. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Taken low and outside. Nieves is at third base. Taylor is at first for the Laredo Lemurs. Danker at the plate and a 2-2 count. So he's waiting his next pitch. Danker in his first at bat ended up striking out for the second out of the inning. Here's the pitch from Link. Swung on and a pop up over to the right side, and that'll get out of play. Danker spent most of the 2007 season with the Inland Empire 66ers until the Dodgers traded him. They traded him over to the Giants back on August 25th of 2007, and they traded him for Mark Sweeney. So Danker finished the season playing for the Giants High A affiliate up in San Jose, over in the California League. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Link gets the sign. And he throws home on the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on, and that one is grounded foul. That year, back in 2007, when Danker went over and played for the San Jose Giants, he helped that club to the California League Championship. That season, Danker ended up hitting .300 with 11 home runs and 66 RBIs through 118 games. He was called up to the big leagues on May 12th of 2008. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Travis Danker. The pitch swung on, hit high in the air into center field. Moving back on the ball, Nick Van Stratton. Van Stratton's going to start camping underneath it. Nieves tagging at third base. Here comes the throw, but it's going to go right to the second baseman. So Nieves will come across the plate and score a run. The Lemurs have a sac fly and an RBI by Danker. And the Lemurs have taken the lead. It's a 4-3 ball game now in favor of Laredo.
Returning at Lawrence Dumas Stadium this season are Monday.
Here comes J.D. Pulfer. So a runner at first base, and Pulfer will get a chance to hit.
Quick shop location for $1. Select items at the concession stand are $1, and even specials in the gift
J.D.
shop are
Pulfer in yesterday's game went 1 for 5, but in this game today, he picked up a big double that cleared off the bases back in the first inning. So Taylor over there at first base. Let's see if he tries to go into motion. He could run. Here's the pitch to Pulfer. That's 1's low. So a little bit more about Danker, even though he's in the dugout. We'll finish off this. Yeah, I told you he was called up on May 12th of 2008 to the Giants. He got his first major league hit in Florida against the Marlins on May 25th back in 2008. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on and a foul ball. Look out. That one got up into the Swedes very quickly. Look out. Everyone's okay. But it hummed up there, that's for sure. Danker's first hit was a double when he was with the Giants and was down the third baseline. He had his first home run against Scott Schoenweiss of the New York Mets back on June 3rd of 2008. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and a soft looper corner. That will be caught by the second baseman, Vargas. He ranged over to his left, made a diving catch towards the line, and came up with the baseball. So that's going to do it for the Lemurs, but they strike and end up taking the lead again. They're now up 4-3. A leadoff walk to Abel Nieves is driven home by Travis Denker, and the Lemurs are up 4-3. We're going to go ahead and go to the bottom of the third inning here on a beautiful day in Wichita, Kansas. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
We all know we can accomplish more when we're ready. That's why I've chosen Texas A&M International University. I want a 4-year degree and the opportunities that it brings. TAMU has welcomed me and more than 7,000 students from around the world. TAMU empowers me to greatness, ignites my mind, and propels me to my future and my impact. Imagine the possibilities when you're powered by TAMU.
Register now for summer and fall. Visit tamu.edu and get powered.
Since Extending Technologies opened for business in 1998, they have worked to establish solid relationships with their clients. They are set to maintain the highest standards of service and integrity and to perform work of only the highest quality, achieving client satisfaction on every project. They have attained these goals through a tradition of care and professional pride. They serve a wide range of corporations and small business franchises. Extending Technologies has the tools and expertise for any technical need that your business may have. Call us here in Laredo at 725-2654. That's 725-2654 for Ascending Technologies.
Todos sabemos que podemos lograr más cuando estamos listos. Por eso, decidí matricularme en Texas A&M International University. Quiero un título universitario y las oportunidades que me brindará. TAMU me ha recibido a mí y a 7,000 estudiantes de todo el mundo. TAMU me impulsa a ser grande, enciende mi mente y hace mi corazón latir. Imagina las posibilidades cuando eres impulsado por TAMU.
Inscríbete ahora para verano y otoño. Visita tamu.edu y sé impulsado.
All right, so TJ Middlestead into the batter's box for Wichita. 4-3 Lemurs. And Willie Paredes goes right back to work. He throws the first pitch outside. Paredes has walked 5 batters so far today, so he really needs to settle down with that. Wichita is one of those clubs that could really make you pay if you keep walking them. Here's the pitch. It's low. The Lemurs are already paid. In fact, of the 5 guys that have walked, 2 of them have come in to score for Wichita. 2 balls and no strikes. And the delivery. A strike on the outside corner, so the Lemurs get one there. 2 balls and 1 strike. That one seemed to be a little bit off the plate. The Lemurs will take it. Well, up to 75 degrees now here in Wichita. The 2-1 outside for a ball. Sure, the Lemurs will go home tomorrow, step off the bus, and it'll be nice and hot back in Laredo. See what the temperature there is right now in South Texas. 3 balls and 1 strike. As the Lemurs get ready for a small homestand, just a shorty. They're going to come home, do some laundry, and head on back on the road. The 3-1 pitch, called a strike on the outside part of the plate. So now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is really the toughest time of the year for the Laredo Lemurs. You know, down the stretch here, they have this 6-game road trip, and then they have 8 coming up. Here's the 3-2, misses away. That's going to be another walk. 6 walks on the day now for Paredes. And the next batter is Harrison Kane. And so the last 20 games of the year for the Laredo Lemurs, 14 of them on the road. And not much rest in between. The Lemurs will be right back at it tomorrow. They will be playing on Monday. Here's the pitch. Kane sees a fastball that misses inside. Yes, currently in Laredo, it is 101 degrees. 1 ball and no strikes. So the Lemurs might want to enjoy the weather that they have right now. It's supposed to get up to 104 today in Laredo. Here's the 1-0. Inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Lemurs up by a run. It's 4-3 Lemurs. Harrison Kane walked back in the first inning. And over the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's going to be 103 and 104 degrees. So it will be hot. The 2-0. Missed someplace. That looked like a good pitch there from Paredes, but he doesn't get the call. So here's a little bit about Willie. He's currently 26 years old. He was born in the Dominican Republic. Played in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization for a long time. And the next pitch is high, called a strike. And you can hear the fans down there arguing about it. So that's going to make it a 3-1 count. Runner at first base, and nobody out here for the Wichita Wingnuts in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here it comes, and a swing and miss by Harrison Kane, a ball that kept boring in on him. So now full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kane. Brent Dean is on deck for the Wingnuts. Kane swinging his ash-colored bat. The runner goes from first. The pitch is swung on and fell down into the ground. So Paredes started out with the Diamondbacks back in 2011. He was with their team in the Dominican Summer League. Then moved over and played with their Arizona League team, also in the same year, 2011. And in that same season, he played for the Yakima Bears up in the Northwest League. In 2012, he played for South Bend, the South Bend Silverhawks. The toss goes over to first base, diving back in is TJ Middlestat. He played for the South Bend Silverhawks in the Midwest League and played for the Visalia Rawhide in the Cal League. They used to be called the Visalia Oaks, but no, it's been about 5 or 6 years now. They changed their name. A 3-2 pitch. The runner goes. The pitch is no call from the umpire, so I'm guessing it's a ball. And Phil Pohl wondering where that one was. So no call, and it was indeed a ball, so it's ball 4, and Middlestat heads up to second base, and Harrison Kane is on with a walk. So another walk delivered by Willie Paredes. That's the 7th walk he's given up today. So 7 walks for Paredes, and I think that is a team high. We'll go ahead and take a look.
How about for the Wingnuts, the catcher, number 16, Brent Dean.
So yeah, it's a team high definitely for the Lemurs starting pitchers this season. I'd have to go deeper into the archives to check for their high by one pitcher in a 1 ball game. Heck, I might have to get out the American Association handbook and see if that's a league record. First pitch to Brent Dean is a strike on the outside corner. Well, Paredes keeps working out of the trouble, you know. I mean, even though he's given up 3 runs, the Lemurs do have a lead right now and can be a lot worse with all those walks given up. So the Lemurs have been able to dance around any big problems so far, but you never know when one's brewing right around the corner. And the pitch, Dean shows bunt again, bunts at the ball, bunts it to Paredes. He'll toss over to first base, and it's going to be in time to get the out. So a sac bunt laid down by Brent Dean. And runners up to second and third now for the Wichita Wingnuts. The putout goes 1-4. That was Abel Nieves covering the bag at first.
Number 5, Taylor Smart.
Here comes Taylor Smart. No bullpen action for Laredo, so this one right now in the hands of Willie Paredes. Lemurs are up by a run, but Wingnuts threatening with runners at second and third and 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Yeah, the highest amount of walks that any Lemurs pitcher has given up this season has only been 4. The highest amount as the team so far this year. Here's the pitch. That one swung on and grounded foul by Taylor Smart. The most amounts by the team. I don't have that exact stat. I have most walks drawn by the offense. Oh, there it is. The most walks drawn by the other team is 8. There we go. So he's 1 away from tying that record for this season. Here's the pitch. It's low. Not that anybody wants him to tie that record. I don't even think the Wingnuts want him to tie that record. Even though they'll take the walks that they're giving them. And I'm sure they'd rather hit the ball as well. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lemurs defense playing in, at least a little bit, not all the way in. Here's the pitch. Ooh, high and tight. Look out there, Taylor Smart. Smart in his last at bat, he reached on an error by Juan Silverio. Silverio was ranging to his left. The ball was bouncing. Silverio had the ball on his mitt, ended up trying to take it out and just lost the handle on it. That allowed Taylor Smart to get to first safely, even though Silverio did make a throw. It was a little bit tardy. Runners at second and third. Middlestead over at third base. Kane at second. Both guys walked. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung in a ground ball over to Silverio. He'll backhand it, and now they have Middlestead in a pickle between third base and home. Silverio will lay the tag on him, and a runner going up to second base. It's Smart. He'll slide in there safely. The Lemurs do get one out. And a nice job by Silverio to go down to a knee, grab that ball, and he saw that Middlestead started to take off, and they got him into a pickle. Silverio never had to make a throw. So there's going to be 2 out. Harrison Kane moved up to third base on the play, and Taylor Smart on the fielder's choice went all the way to second. So the Lemurs are out and out away from working out of the trouble here. I tell you what, if Paredes could give him 4 innings, that'd be really amazing with as many walks as he's given up. Here's Leo Vargas, the number 9 batter. The pitch to Vargas is a little bit outside. A fastball to start it off to Leo. One ball and no strikes to Vargas. And Paredes brings it home, and that is low for a ball. And Paredes saw some time in AAA ball with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. He pitched in Reno. That's where the Reno Aces are. And he pitched there for a total of 12 games. He spent some time in AA ball as well with the Mobile Bay Bears down in Mobile, Alabama. The next pitch is low and outside. In fact, that's where he spent most of his time, was at AA, pitching in 79 games throughout the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. So there he put up an 8-2 record and a 1.90 ERA. Then he got to AAA and apparently just didn't work out. So just this season he was up in Reno at AAA baseball. Next pitch is called a strike. The umpire is getting hassled here. And now even Kevin Hooper starting to get into it. And Kevin Hooper's the manager. He's in the third base coaching box. He's giving the home plate umpire an earful, and really can't blame him. He's been very inconsistent down there behind home plate today. So he's probably having one of his roughest days of the season. That's Chance Wilson behind the plate. Here's the 3-1. And that one is a little bit high. So ball 4. And the next batter is going to be the top of the order, Nick Van Stratton. Here comes manager Pete Incaviglia out of the dugout. So usually you don't see Pete coming out just to talk things over with the pitchers. It's usually the job of Mike Meyer. But Pete Incaviglia is going to indeed come out. And by the way, that's the 8th walk given up by Paredes. Remember, Paredes hasn't been a starter for the Laredo Lemurs. He never started much in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization either. A total of 17 starts for him there through 180 appearances. Manager Pete Incaviglia just talking things over with the infield as the bases are now loaded. The Lemurs just need 1 out. Now the home plate umpire, Chance Wilson, going to come out, and this might be actually what Pete's looking for, is a chance to talk to Chance Wilson. So Wilson finally going to walk up to the mound, and Pete starts in, and he's talking to the players, it looks like, but Wilson's not breaking it up, and they're finally going to go ahead and leave. So everybody goes back to where they belong. So everybody back to their spots. And Nick Van Stratton, the batter. Van Stratton has struck out twice. He really hasn't seen Paredes very well so far. So every base is occupied. Kane over at third base, Smart at second, Vargas at first. 2 outs in the inning and a 4-3 lead for the Lemurs. And here's the first pitch to Van Stratton, and it's low for a ball. You can just see Van Stratton looks a little uncomfortable up there at the plate against Paredes. And that's usually not the case for him. He's usually very comfortable in the batter's box. Just when the ball is thrown, and maybe he's not seeing the ball out of his hand well. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is a strike on the inside corner, a fastball there, just at the thigh level. Here's the pitch, swung on, and that one's tapped off the plate and comes back up and hits Van Stratton. You can see a yell there from Van Stratton. You can actually hear it up here. You can hear the frustration. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a big pitch coming up here for Paredes. Here it is. That one swung on and a ground ball over to the right side. That's going to hug the ground and get through for a single. Kane's in to score. Here comes Smart. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. And 2 runs are in for the Wingnuts. They have retaken the lead. Actually, they have taken the lead for the first time, not retaken the lead. But nonetheless, they have taken the lead. So Kane scores, Smart scores, and Nick Van Stratton, even though having a hard time against Paredes, ends up getting a base hit over to the right side and drives in 2 runs and puts them up 5-4. Here comes Jace Ray now to the plate, so the walks do come back to haunt Willie Paredes in this half inning as well. In fact, Taylor Smart ended up reaching on fielder's choice earlier. He's one of the guys that scored, but Harrison Kane was a walk. So of the 8 guys that have walked, 4 of them have come in to score now for Wichita. Make that 3 of them as I recount. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Misses low and outside. And this is turning into a long day for Willie Paredes. So Beckman is indeed warming up for Laredo. 5-4 Wichita. The 2-0 delivery. Low for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. Yeah, so Paredes is just primarily a relief pitcher. And like I said that earlier, this is his 2nd start for the Lemurs this year. He has done very well as a relief pitcher for the Lemurs. Coming out of the bullpen. A 3-0 pitch. Outside, ball 4. 9 walks given up by Paredes. And we are indeed starting to reach record levels here. And I gotta get over and grab my American Association handbook here. I don't think any Lemurs ever walked 9 guys. Like I said, I'd have to go deeper into the archives to check that out. And we'll try to do that between innings for you, just to bring you up to date. But I can also get the league handbook out and see how many walks have been given up by a pitcher. Well, here comes manager Pete Incaviglia. That's going to be the day for Willie Paredes. So he's coming out for the 2nd time. Just a tough day. Guy that they are trying to get out here to pitch in a starting spot. A guy that normally works in the bullpen being thrust into the rotation, and just doesn't work out for Willie Paredes. Today, unfortunately for him, he leaves as his team is down by a score of 5-4. We're going to take a timeout. I'll try to do some research in between innings. Ryan Beckman coming into the ballgame for the Lemurs. 5-4 Wichita.
Capital Care EMS, located at 1510 Calle del Norte, Suite number 11, invites you to experience a new standard in medical transportation, servicing Laredo and all surrounding areas. Capital Care EMS provides transports to wound care treatments, HBO treatments, dialysis treatments, doctor's appointments, radiation treatments, chemotherapy treatments, and many more. From emergency medical transport to x-rays and lab work, our state-certified EMTs and paramedics are readily available 24 hours a day when you need them most. Capital Care EMS accepts most major medical insurances, including Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and many more. Capital Care EMS is locally owned and operated. Call now for your free consultation. 956-712-8911. That's 956-712-8911. Capital Care EMS, creating a new standard in medical transportation. Capital Care EMS, the official ambulance of your Laredo Lemurs.
Hey, ¿tienes algo que celebrar? ¿Que le salió el primer diente a tu hijo? ¿Que tu abuelita aprendió a tuitear? ¿Que cambiaste tu cheque? La respuesta es la misma. Pues un carnesazo. No importa lo que estés celebrando, lo que importa es que lo celebres. Pues con un carnesazo de H-E-B. En H-E-B encuentras gran variedad de cortes a precios bajos y de buena calidad. Carnesazo. Carne asada con ganas, solo en H-E-B.
All right, so I got into the American Association record book, and the 9 walks there by Willie Paredes is now a league record. The previous record was 8, and that was set by several different pitchers. So now Paredes is all alone at the top of that mountain, and not a mountain you want to be on the top of by any means, but
Mustard Water Chicken Club. The chicken is hot and fresh. It's got melted Monterey Jack cheese topped with lettuce, tomato, bacon, and then the honey mustard adds a nice sweet flavor to it.
All the flavors come together just.
and it does not say how much it was for. Pitch, breaking ball, swung on 2 hops over to the shortstop, Pulfer. He has it from the middle of the infield. He'll throw over to first base, and it's in time to get LaRoche out, at least in the 4 years I've been here. There may have been guys in the past, but nobody that I've seen. Here's the first pitch to Middlestat. Middlestat sees one miss outside. 1 ball and no strikes. LaRoche earlier this season went to spring training with the Chicago White Sox. Of course, did not make the team. That's where his brother plays. Adam LaRoche. Here's the 1-0. No one misses, low and in. 2 balls and no strikes. 3 hits for each club, but there have been plenty of base runners to go around on each side due to walks here today. 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch home. It's low. 3-0. Well, the record for the most amount of walks in a game by a team is 18. And that was set by the Lincoln Salt Dogs back on August 15th of 2010 against St. Paul. Here's the 3-0. Called a strike. So the Lemurs do not want to set that record. They already have 1 today, and that would probably be enough. The Lemurs have walked 9 batters, and all out of the arm of Willie Paredes. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one is outside. That's another walk. So that's now the 10th walk delivered by Laredo today. And here comes Harrison Kane to the plate.
Coming for the Wingnuts, left fielder number 11, Harrison Kane.
And the Lemurs have been a team this year. They haven't walked a whole lot of people, and it's kind of odd to see them. In fact, our games have been really quick. Here's the pitch to Kane. That's in there for a strike. So it's just odd to see the Lemurs falling off track a little bit in the walk category. And that will really slow a game down. It does not help out your defense at all. Kind of lulls them to sleep behind you. Here's a toss over to first base, and back in easily is TJ Middlestat. Middlestat stole a base earlier in the ball game. And Middlestat now has reached on walks twice today. So Harrison Kane in the batter's box. And he's looking at an 0-1 count. Here's the pitch, swung and missed. A changeup there from Ryan Beckman. So make it no balls and 2 strikes. And the Lemurs start the day walking 281 batters, so bump it up to 291. Here's the 0-2. And also a changeup. That one misses low. So just doing some quick looking around. The team that has walked, well, that's the offense, so I got to look at the defense. Got to look at the pitching. See how many of the pitchers have given up. Here's a chopper up to Silverio at third base. He'll throw quickly over to first. It's a close play, and Kane's going to be called safe. The Lemurs do not get the call. Tyler Thurman, the umpire, calls Harrison Kane safe, and it's going to be an infield base hit. Juan Silverio with a very long look over at first base, wondering what? So that's going to put runners at first and second base now for Wichita. Now Phil Pohl's going to go out and talk things over with Beckman. So with runners at first and second base, once again, Wichita is threatening. We're only in the bottom of the fourth inning. 5-4 Wichita. So the Lemurs pitching staff has walked 245 batters coming into the game, so make it 255 now with the 10 walks they've given up today. And just looking around trying to see where that 245 has them sitting. Wichita with one of the lowest walk ratios. In fact, St. Paul and Sioux City, they haven't even hit the 200 mark yet as far as walks go. First pitch to the new batter, he gets away from Phil Pohl. So Brent Dean takes a ball and everybody moves up 90 feet. So 1 ball and no strikes to Dean. So now the infield going to move in again for the Laredo Lemurs. Seems like a whole different team out there today than what we're used to seeing. The 1-0 pitch swung on and tipped into the glove of Phil Pohl. That one's going to be a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The Lemurs got off to a great start. They scored those 3 runs in the first inning, had a lot of momentum in the dugout. You hear the guys cheering down there, a lot of excitement. And then next thing you know, in the bottom of the third inning, 3 runs for the Wingnuts. The game was tied. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swung on, topped off the plate, charging the ball is Pulfer. He has it. He'll throw to first base for the out. And the runner at third base, Middlestat, stays put. And that'll be the second out of the inning. A 6-3 put out and 2 down. And Taylor Smart, the next batter. Smart reached on an error by the third baseman Silverio back in the third inning. He reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run back in the third. So Middlestead at third base, Harrison Kane at second, Ryan Beckman back to work. And the pitch, swung in a liner. Nieves dives and makes the catch right at the second baseman. He takes away a base hit, nicely done there by Bell, and that's going to end the inning. So Smart lines out, and that's it for Wichita. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We're going to the 5th. The Lemurs trail by a run.
South Texas families never strike out with Driscoll Health Plan. Catch the value-added services we pitch to our Medicaid members. Enjoy a free membership to specific boys and girls clubs. Receive gift cards for completing Texas healthcare checkups. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Visit us at DriscollHealthPlan.com.
We'd like to imagine that if you're listening to this, it's on a radio in a backyard in between innings. The grass was mowed this morning, and the grill smells like heaven. And what do you know? Your friends just arrived with a 24-pack of Miller Lite, along with a few new friends to enjoy them with. Here's hoping we're right, and you're not just stuck in traffic. Here's hoping it's Miller time.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2015 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you want to sit in a car for 7 hours, risk a flat tire, traffic, or highway construction delays? Fly direct from Laredo International Airport to Dallas-Fort Worth on American Airlines. From Dallas, you can change planes and take a flight to Tokyo, London, or even Rio de Janeiro. With 4 daily arrivals and departures, American Airlines is sure to have a connection that works best for you. So avoid spending hours in the car or risk an accident on the highway or even a flat tire. Fly in comfort from Laredo International Airport. Visit AA.com for details and to book a reservation.
Crowd at the bar making you sweat?
Uh-huh.
Could you use some ice-cold refreshment?
You bet.
Then Coors Light may be right for you. Could result in epic nights, maximum refreshment, great times, awesome memories, high fives, smiles, Rocky Mountain refreshment, Blue Mountain refreshment, quadruple epic refreshment, killer parties, and totally refreshed killer parties. Ask your bartender for Coors Light today.
Definitely.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
All right, Abel Nieves leads it off for the Lemurs. He'll be followed up by Kevin Taylor and then Dennis Phipps. So big part of the order coming up for Laredo against John Link. Link throws home, and that one is a fastball that misses inside. So 1 ball and no strikes. Wichita with 5 runs on 4 hits today. And they've earned 10 walks. The pitch swung on and a fly ball to right field, but well foul. Lemurs with 4 runs on 3 hits, and they've made 2 errors tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. The Lemurs have walked 4 times, so a total of 14 walks in the game so far. Pitch between the 2 clubs. The 1-1 swung on and a ground ball over to the right side. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. Nieves with a single to start off the inning, and that's what the Lemurs are looking for.
The designated hitter, number 7, Kevin Taylor.
Here comes Kevin Taylor to the plate. Taylor on the day picked up a double back in the first inning, and then he reached on a walk in the third. So Taylor from the left side of the batter's box as the Lemurs try to get a run to at least try to tie up the ball game. And Link's going to work out of the stretch. He throws. That one swung in and a hard hit. One hopper to Smart. Smart flips to Vargas for 1. Back over to first. It's a double play and a beauty there by the Wichita Wingnuts, starting with the shortstop, Taylor Smart. Taylor Smart diving up the middle off of one hop off the bat of Kevin Taylor, flipping from the ground to Vargas. And Vargas throws over to first base to turn the double play, and you got to tip your cap there to Taylor Smart making a nice play. Tell you what, any guy that can play shortstop in Amarillo and play it well, you got to tip your cap to that guy, and that's what Taylor Smart was doing with Amarillo earlier this season. Well, here's Phipps. He can tie the game up all by himself with one swing of the bat. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss, and it was a breaking ball, and Phipps out in front of that one. Phipps on the day, he earned one of the walks given up by John Link, and then he flew out to right field in the third inning. Here's the pitch on the 0-1. Swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. So Phipps in a 0-2 hole off a couple of breaking balls. Link shakes yes. Now Phipps calls timeout. He wants to take a moment. So Link's ready to go. He spins and throws on the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and a liner into right field. That's going to drop for a single. So another hit in the inning by the Laredo Lemurs. And Travis Denker's going to be the batter now for the Laredo club.
Wingnuts official massage therapist at 316-239-8300 for a relaxing massage. First baseman number 28, Travis Denker.
Denker struck out in his first at bat. He hit a fly ball at the center field. That was a sac fly that drove in a run back in the third. Lemurs scored 3 in the first, 1 in the third inning. Wichita put up 3 in the first inning and 2 in the third. That's where we sit. Here's the pitch to Denker. Denker takes low and outside. Told you earlier about Denker's time with the Dodgers and the Giants. He also spent some time with the Padres and the Red Sox. 1 ball and no strikes. He spent time in their organization. He never made it up to the big leagues with either of those clubs. And Denker takes a strike on the outside corner, a fastball. He was claimed off waivers by the Padres back in 2008. He appeared in only 1 game at AA San Antonio with the Missions. And on April 14th of 2009, the Red Sox claimed him off waivers from the Padres, and he appeared 117 games at AAA Pawtucket. And he batted .238 that season. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phipps runs. The pitch is outside. The throw down to second base is not going to be in time. So Phipps steals a bag, and that puts him in scoring position, and Denker at the plate with 2 down. So a good job there by Dennis Phipps. Now let's see if Denker can pick up that big base hit to try to score the run that will tie up the game. Denker looking at a 2-1 count. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch. Breaking ball swung on and grounded over to the third baseman. Middlestat charging. He's on the grass. He'll make the throw. It goes past the first baseman and over by the side and gets all the way into no man's land. No one's at second base, and Denker's over there at second. The throw goes by him and into left field. The run scores for the Lemurs. and they've tied up the ball game. So an error on the third baseman creates all kinds of havoc out there. And the Lemurs are knotted up at 5 apiece now with the Wingnuts. So now the Lemurs can hit the reset button and start from ground zero here with the Wichita club today, with all those walks that Willie Paredes gave up and the runs that were able to come in to score for the Wingnuts. The Lemurs need to reset this thing and go back at it from here. So we're in the top of the 5th and a 5-5 tie. I'm sure the Wingnuts are not looking at it like that at all. So Denker's at second base with 2 down. And J.D. Pulfer, the batter, he came up with a big double back in the first inning that drove in all 3 runs. He sees a fastball that misses low and inside. So Denker, after playing with the Red Sox back in 2009, in 2010 he signed with the Mariners, but was released on April 24th only after 7 games with the Tacoma Rainiers. And he was signed by the Dodgers again on May 4th of that year. Here's the 1-0 pitch, swung and missed. So in 2010, he played 74 games for the Inland Empire 66ers and played 16 games for the Chattanooga Lookouts and 13 games for the Albuquerque Isotopes. And in 2011 again, he saw some time with Rancho Cucamonga and the Chattanooga Lookouts. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here it comes, and it is low. In 2011, between those 2 clubs, Chattanooga and Rancho Cucamonga, he combined for a .274 batting average with 25 home runs and 81 RBIs. And in 2012, he continued his time with the Lookouts, appearing in 64 games and only hitting .228. He was released on June 27th by the Dodgers. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on in a line drive, hit well into left field. Harrison Kane going back. He's got a beat on it. He'll make the catch. So Pulfer lines out, and that does it for the Lemurs, but they pick up a very important run to tie up the game here in the top of the 5th inning. So it was 1 run on 2 hits. There was an error and 1 left. We're going to go to the bottom of the 5th inning, knotted up at 5 apiece. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
Texas Inflatable Rentals has Laredo's largest water slides. We're proud to say that we serve the greater Laredo area and supply slip sliding fun for kids of all ages. Texas Inflatable Rentals has a huge selection of inflatables for every budget. And to add to the party, we rent tables, chairs, snow cone machines, popcorn machines, and cotton candy machines that will help take your party to the next level. We also have moonwalks and bounce houses. Contact Texas Inflatable Rentals at 956-436-3909 or at texasinflatablerentals.com and book with the coupon code LEMURS for a 10% discount. That's Texas Inflatable Rentals, Laredo's largest water slide.
Looking to travel this summer? If the year-round flights to Las Vegas aren't fit for you, take advantage of Allegiant's direct flights from Laredo International Airport to Orlando. For as low as $119 round trip, you and your family can be in Orlando in 2.5 hours. Fly in comfort from your Laredo International Airport. Visit Allegiant.com for details and specials. Texas Outlaw Grill is a proud sponsor of your Laredo Lemurs, specializing in outlaw delicacies such as the Texican, the Gringo, and the Bandit Hot Dog and their ever-famous barbecue burger. Be the first to try their groundbreaking Cabrito Hamburger and Cabrito Hot Dog. For all to-go orders, catering, and fundraising information, go by 5209 Springfield Suite number 4 or call 956-771-1919. That's Texas Outlaw Grill. Here comes Leo Vargas to the plate. So it's going to be Vargas, Van Stratton, and Ray. So 9, 1, and 2 in the batting order for Wichita. Try to get to the big league scoreboard here this half inning if we have enough time. Here's the first pitch to Vargas. Vargas takes low. Ryan Beckman staying on the mound for the Laredo Lemurs. Beckman came in with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. And he allowed some base runners in the 4th, but no one came in to score. So he's doing well. Here's the pitch from Beckman. That's a strike on the inside corner. So here's a look around the major leagues. Yankees and Indians tied up at 3. They're in the top of the 8th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Vargas. And the pitch. bunted up the first baseline, but it's going to go foul. Rangers 4, Tigers 2. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning, so that game's getting ready to be wrapped up, it looks like. A 4-4 tie between the Royals and the Red Sox. They're in the bottom of the 7th. 9, Milwaukee 4, bottom of the 7th inning. And the Baltimore Orioles are up 3-2 over the Minnesota Twins. That game in the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the batter, Leo Vargas. Beckman toes the rubber on the first base side, bends at the waist, holds the ball behind his back. And he gets the sign from the catcher, Phil Pohl. And the pitch. Low for a ball. 2-2. So Baltimore up 3-2 over the Minnesota Twins. That game in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Dodgers are up over the Houston Astros 2-1. First time I've seen them in the lead this weekend. Here's the 2-2 pitch, swung on, topped off the plate. And 2 hops over to Abel Nieves at second. He'll flip over to first base, and it's in time to get the out. So 4-3 put out there, and a nice play by Abel Nieves. A 5-5 tie here from Wichita. We're at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here comes Nick Van Stratton. Cubbies up over the Atlanta Braves 8-2. They're in the bottom of the 5th. Angels 5, Blue Jays 1, top of 2. That one's being played out in Anaheim. So is the game between the Oakland A's and the Tampa Bay Rays. They're just underway. There's no score there. So here's Nick Van Stratton. He's got 1 hit and 2 strikeouts on the day. He swings here and hits one up to the third baseman. Silverio will grab it in foul territory and try to make the play, but it is indeed a foul ball. The White Sox and Mariners just underway. So are the Mets and the Rockies. And the Cardinals and the Padres just underway. Giants and Pirates are the night game in Major League Baseball today, so that'll be your game on ESPN. Rangers 4, Tigers 2, that's a final. Diamondbacks beat the Reds 4-0, and the Philadelphia Phillies over the Miami Marlins 2-0 today. So there's your Major League scoreboard. We got it all in. The next pitch to Van Stratton misses low. Let's make it a count of 1 ball and 1 strike to Nick. Nick in his first 2 at-bats was having a really tough time against Willie Paredes. Just kind of off balance up there against him. I think he was the wildest of Willie. That kind of threw him off. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Swung on a liner, hard hit right to J.D. Pulfer. The shortstop will put that one away for the Lemurs.
Now batting for the Wingnuts, the right fielder,
So
number
2
4,
down quickly, and Jace Ray, the next batter.
Ray.
So a look at the standings in Major League Baseball. The Yankees are up over the Blue Jays by a half a game. And the Baltimore Orioles are 6 games back. That's all in the American League East. In the Central Division in the American League, the Kansas City Royals look like they're going to run away with this thing. They're up by 12.5 games over the Minnesota Twins. Houston Astros up 4 games over the Rangers, and they're up 4.5 over the Los Angeles Angels. First pitch to Jace Ray's in there for a strike, a fastball in the inside corner at the knee. In the National League, look at the New York Mets go. They're up 5 games over the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals have just collapsed. Here's the pitch, low and inside. And the Atlanta Braves 13.5 games back. St. Louis, the top team in Major League Baseball with a record of 77 wins and 45 losses. They lead by 3.5 games over the Pirates, so not a huge lead for St. Louis. Look at Pittsburgh go. The next pitch swung on and grounded up the first baseline, foul. Danker will range for it in foul territory and grab it. And he'll throw it back into play. Chicago Cubs are 6.5 games out in the Central. Then you got the Brewers and the Reds bringing up the end. Dodgers are up 1.5 games over the Giants, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are 5.5 out. Padres are 6.5 out, and then there's the Rockies 17.5 out. Here's the 1-0, swung on a ground ball up the middle. That's going to go ahead and get through for a base hit. So Jace Ray has his first hit of the day. He had walked 2 times and grounded out once.
Now batting for the Wingnuts, the first baseman, number 7, David Espinosa.
So a 5-5 tie here from Wichita, and coming up to the plate is David Espinosa. He also has 2 walks, and he has grounded back out to the pitcher. In fact, Espinosa was the first guy Beckman faced back in the 3rd inning when Ball was hit right back to Beckman. Beckman had the ball go off of his glove. He had to run the ball down with the bases loaded, and he had to go about 10 to 15 feet to grab it, and he was able to throw Espinoza out. Beckman throws the ball over to first base to try to get Ray back in. He does so, but there's no out. So Jace Ray safe at first. A 5-5 tie. Each team has 5 hits. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled back to the screen by David Espinoza. So he's looking at an 0-1 count. David Espinoza has been around for a while, playing in affiliated ball and also playing in the Indy ranks. And a toss over to first base. In fact, David Espinoza was drafted back in the first round back in 2000. He was drafted out of high school at a Gulliver Prep High School in Coral Gables, Florida. He started off in the Reds organization in their Midwest League team. That's low A ball. Another toss goes to first, and once again back in safely is Jace Ray. He played for Dayton, the Dayton Dragons. He also played for the Stockton Ports back in 2002, so he's been around for a long time. Saw some time in the Tigers organization as well, and that's where he met up with Kevin Hooper, the manager for the Wingnuts right now. The pitch, it's in the dirt. Phil Pohl keeps it a little bit over to his right. So when Hooper and Espinoza, they actually played together in the Tigers organization. Kevin Hooper, not that old. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what he is, but I know he's not an old guy. I mean, I would think he's under 40. 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch, swung and fouled off. So it goes down and hits Phil Pohl on the shin guard and bounces off to the right. Yeah, Espinoza's been all around independent baseball. He's played in the Atlantic League, here in the American Association. He's played for the Grand Prairie Air Hogs in the American Association, the Lincoln Salt Dogs, the Kansas City T-Bones. In fact, he was with Kansas City last year when he ended up getting traded over to Wichita at the end of the year. With the T-Bones last year, he played 64 games and then got moved over to Wichita and played 36 for them down the stretch and hit 338 and helped lead them to an American Association South Division title and the championship. Here's the pitch. It's low. The runner goes, and Jace Ray will go ahead and take second base. He has a stolen bag as Phil Pohl couldn't get the ball out of his mitt. In fact, he dropped it, and after that, he had no play. So the go-ahead run for Wichita is out there at second base. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 5-5 tie. And the 2-2 pitch misses away, make it 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Espinoza started playing in the Indy ranks all the way back in 2008. He's been around independent baseball for a while. When he was in the Atlantic League, he saw some time with Southern Maryland. That's the Blue Crabs. He also spent some time with the York Revolution. He lines one here, and he goes right into the glove of Travis Denker, the first baseman. And Denker will put it away, and that's going to do it for Wichita. They get no runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We're going to go to the top of the 6th inning. A 5-5 tie here from Wichita.
Welcome to Whataburger. Today we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
Wow, it's beautiful.
2 beef patties, American cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, bacon, grilled onions, the sweet and spicy pepper sauce.
Sweet in the front and then the spicy in the back. I like it. I like it a lot.
So it's like a perfect balance, and then that bacon right there, it adds crunchiness.
I'll get back in line and get another one, I'll tell you that much.
Sweet spicy bacon burger. Come down to Whataburger. It's only here for a limited time.
Laredo Sports Medicine Clinic, the official team doctors of your Laredo Lemurs. Now with 2 convenient locations to better serve you. Our north location is located at 9652 McPherson Road, Suite 12. Our south location is located at 5102 State Highway 359. Laredo Sports Medicine offers an array of services from physical therapy to our newest service, orthopedic surgery. Laredo Sports Medicine Clinic is changing orthopedic care 1 athlete at a time. Visit our website at laredosportsmed.com for more information.
Driscoll Health Plan loads the bases with value.
We knock it out of the park with all the value-added services we bring to our Medicaid members. Driscoll families cheer on the Grand Slam packages, sports physicals, free memberships to Boys and Girls Clubs, and dental care for pregnant women over 21. Take a swing at our baby showers offered by Cadena de Madre. Forget those peanuts and Cracker Jacks, root for our baby blankets and more. Come slide into home when you receive gift cards for completing Texas Health Steps checkups and attending postpartum visits on time. Don't miss a play. Restrictions and limits may apply. Visit DriscollHealthPlan.com.
This summer, Allegiant will increase to 4 weekly flights to Las Vegas, Nevada. If gambling in Vegas isn't your thing, Allegiant is also this summer. All right, Lemurs coming up to the plate. Drew Martinez is leading it off, and staying on the mound is John Link for Wichita. He'll throw home, and the pitch is swung on line to the left center field. That'll be a base hit and a good way to start for the Lemurs here in the 6th inning. A 5-5 tie here in the 6th. So it's Martinez, Silveria, and Pohl coming up to the plate. And with that base hit by Drew Martinez, we might see Ty Morrison as well. So here's Silverio. Silverio got his first hit back in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Silverio looks nice and relaxed as he gets ready to step into the batter's box. So Drew Martinez will get out to his lead over at first base. And John Link going to work out of the stretch. He delivers, and it's a fastball away. So 1 ball and no strikes to Juan Silverio. Drew Martinez with 9 stolen bases earlier this year with Gary has not picked one up for the Lemurs yet, but he can run. He's the center fielder for Laredo, so he might be able to take off here as Silverio lifts one into right field. Going back on the ball, Jace Ray. It looks like Ray has a beat on it as he works towards the left field line. He'll make the catch, shooting in the right field line. So 1 down, and Phil Pohl coming up to the plate.
Every Sunday with the Wingnuts is Fun Day Sunday. Kids can run the bases after the
Phil
game.
Pohl on the day is 0 for 2.
Just like the pros. Field will be open for up to 30 minutes after the game to play catch. Every Sunday here at
Phil Pohl playing in his 9th game with the Lemurs. He was drafted by the Rays back in the 44th round back in 2008. He didn't sign with them, and then he was drafted by the Oakland A's in the 28th round back in 2012. Here's the pitch, a breaking ball swung on and hit softly up to the first baseman. Grabbing it is Espinoza, and Phil Pohl's going to do the back pedal and finally get tagged out. And that allows the runner, Drew Martinez, to go up to second base. So a smart play there by Phil, just making sure the guy at second base was going to be able to get in there safely. And quickly 2 down, and Ty Morrison coming up with a runner at second. So the go-ahead run for the Laredo Lemurs is at second base.
All you have to do is grab a voucher from any Quick Shop location for a $1 general admission seat. They select items at the concession stand for $1, even special.
So Ty Morrison getting into the batter's box. Ty on the day walked back in the 1st. He scored a run there. Grounded out to third base in the 2nd and grounded out to the shortstop in the 4th. Knotted up at 5 apiece. Here's Link delivering. And it's low for a ball, a little bit off to the left, and Brent Dean, the catcher, will block that one. The Lemurs do not have a backup catcher right now, and that's definitely a concern. Phil Pohl's been getting a lot of work in as of late. Not that he can't catch every day, but it's always nice to have a backup catcher. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that one is a curveball that hits the outside corner. In fact, the Lemurs do have an open roster spot right now. So they're working with 21 players. So they can put one more person on their roster, and I would guess they would go with the catcher, but they also need somebody in the starting rotation. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung in a liner foul over into the stands. Look out. So that's going to be up to manager Pete Incaviglia who he wants to put on the roster. Does he want to go out and get a backup catcher? Kevin Taylor can catch in a pinch. We've seen him behind the plate a time or two this season. But he looks a whole lot better on the infield, does Kevin Taylor. I actually like him playing second base, but that's the spot of Abel Nieves right now. The 1-2 pitch, a curveball, and that one misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now the fans here have been upset with the umpire pretty much all day long. They're not getting the calls for their guys. And overall, just Chance Wilson not having the best of days. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ty Morrison. I think it's been a rough day for a lot of the guys down there. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now a full count to Morrison. I don't know if you could pick a much better day to come on out to the ballpark. I mean, it's 75 degrees right now with a nice cool breeze. It's been a beautiful one. Hardly any humidity in the air. Here's that 3-2 pitch. It's outside and high, ball 4. And Abel Nieves is going to be the batter. There is bullpen action right now for Wichita. And can't tell who it is with the uniforms on that they have today. The numbers kind of blend right in with their camouflage uniforms from this distance anyway. They are camouflage uniforms, so a lot of stuff is going to blend in with them. So here's Nieves. Big opportunity for the Lemurs, one of their best hitters up at the plate. Nieves with the base hit back in the 5th against John Link. Here's the pitch, and Nieves takes a strike. That one on the inside part of the plate, and Nieves is going to take a little bit of a walk. So apparently Nieves didn't like that call too much. So no balls and a strike. You know, each strike does, change the count. I mean, it gives you an idea. I mean, right now, John Link ahead 0-1, so he's got the advantage. The pitch. Check swing by Nieves. He went around, no balls and 2 strikes, and Nieves goes into a deeper hole here. So on the next pitch, Link doesn't have to come in. He can go ahead and try to throw something that is tempting to Nieves, just like that last pitch was. And the advantage definitely goes to the pitcher. So the deeper the count gets in favor of the pitcher, the lower the batting average goes for the batter. The pitch, that is low and outside. Pretty good pitch there by Link in an 0-2 count. That's why you see batters get frustrated when they fall down in the count. Some guys don't mind hitting with 2 strikes. It's like any other pitch to them, but other guys know that, hey, I'm down in the count. He's definitely got the advantage. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Also another nibble pitch that misses away. So there's the advantage for the pitcher right there, knowing he's ahead 0-2. He throws the next 2 pitches, something that's tempting but far enough off the plate where Nieves can't do any damage with it. And Link doing a good job there on those last 2 pitches. Both of them were close enough to take a really good look at, but far enough away to go ahead and let go. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Swung on and fouled back up. Look out. Over to the right, up into the suites, and back down into the stands, and grabbing it with his bare hand is J.D. Pulfer in the dugout. The ball bounced off the windows in the suites and went right back down into the Lemurs dugout, and standing there was Pulfer. And he reached up with his hand and grabbed it with his bare hand.
Silver Acura MDX. License plate SM.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes once again to Nieves.
Please report to customer service.
Runners at first and second base for the Lemurs and 2 down. Here's the 2-2. Swung and grounded over to the third baseman. Middlestat charges on the grass. He'll make the throw. It's in time to get the out. And the Lemurs leave the runners stranded. We're through 5.5. We have a 5-5 tie here in the ball game. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
Breakfast speaks for itself here at Whataburger. It's going to be hot, it's going to be fresh.
It's almost like when you were a kid and you wake up in the morning, you can smell mom cooking breakfast.
I like their hash browns.
My favorite is the honey butter chicken biscuit. I like the taquitos.
We have some fresh cracked eggs here.
I like these pancakes because they're fluffy.
I really like the fact that you can get into Whataburger real fast and bring it on the go.
We're cooking breakfast for you at Whataburger.
Falcon Bank and the Laredo Lemurs are a winning combination. At Falcon, they know what counts. Personalized service, attention to detail, and genuine commitment to helping customers achieve their dreams. Falcon Bank, guided by faith, grounded by family, and committed to you. For all of your vehicle collision repair and paint needs, there's only one place to turn: Mike's Paint Place. Mike's Paint Place has computerized color matching and digital imaging. They also do full frame and suspension repairs. Stop by and see Mike's Paint Place today at 6410 Polaris Drive in Laredo.
Hey, Lemurs fans, every Thursday night at Uni-Trade Stadium is a Thirsty Thursday. Come on out and enjoy cold Miller Lite draft beers for only $1. That's right, beer for $1. You can get tickets online at LaredoLemurs.com or by phone at 956-7-Lemurs. I'll see you at the ballpark.
Uni-Trade continues to provide solutions in foreign trade through a highly satisfactory customs brokerage service. Uni-Trade has quality trained personnel devoted to the highest level of customer service. For all your transportation, distribution, and consolidation needs, it's Uni-Trade. Chavarria's Plumbing.
Leading off for the Wingnuts, it's the Janet King cleanup hitter. The designated hitter, number 32.
Andy LaRoche.
All right, here's Andy LaRoche.
Janet King, the king of clean.
Just watching down in the dugout. The Lemurs guys in the dugout trying to tell the bullpen guys who to get up and start throwing. And they're making all kinds of hand gestures and signs as the first pitch to LaRoche is lifted into right field. Going back on the ball is Phipps. He's got it under control. He makes the catch. And there's one down, and TJ Middlestat coming out to the plate. Beckman staying on the mound for the Lemurs. A 5-5 tie as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Beckman being stretched out in this ball game. He's worked through the 4th and the 5th inning, going to try to get himself through the 6th. And if he can do that, it'll be 3 1/3 innings that he's worked in. Remember, the Lemurs have a game tomorrow against the Grand Prairie Airhogs. And definitely a series that they got to think about sweeping in the pinch. A strike on the outside corner. They were thinking sweep coming into this series. Because if the Lemurs would have came in here and were able to get a sweep, they were back 5 games when they started off this series. They would have been able to be back 2 games with the rest of the season left to play as the pitch is fouled back. So they would have had 15 games left on the docket after finishing off the series here. And they would have been back 2, which would have put them in pretty good position to try to win the division, even though Wichita would still have the upper hand. The Lemurs would be a whole lot closer. Here's the next pitch, and Middlestat watches it miss low. Middlestat on the day, he's reached every time. A single back in the first and a couple of walks to his credit. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beckman, after coming in, has only walked 1 batter. Here's the 1-2. That one's low and outside after we saw Willie Paredes. If you're just joining us, the starting pitcher for the Lemurs tonight, Willie Paredes, set a new league record with 9 walks in 1 game by 1 pitcher. And that's not a record you want, but that's what happened. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Missed someplace. And you can see the frustration on Lemurs manager's face, Pete Incaviglia down there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. And Beckman throws, and that one swung on and fouled away off to the left. So Beckman going to throw a 3-2 pitch here. We've seen a lot of 3-2 counts today. Here it comes. And that one's called strike 3. Middlestat goes down looking, and he was ready to toss the bat away. He's going to have a conversation. And frustration on both sides. The strike zone has been very inconsistent today. So just a tough day for Chance Wilson. And hey, you know, even the umpires have tough days. You know, they're not perfect either. And the players come out here, they can have tough days, and the umpires can be in the same boat. Speaking of boats, there go the jet skis out over the right center field wall. Here's the pitch to Kane. Kane swings, and it's a ground ball that hugs the ground all the way up to Abel Nieves. Nieves will throw over to first base, and it's an easy 4-3 put out. And the Wingnuts go down in order. That's the first time today that the Wingnuts have gone down in order. We're going to head to the top of the 7th inning. Lemurs and Wingnuts tied at 5.
Core Business Solutions is a proud sponsor of Lemurs Baseball. Core Business Solutions services the 17 southernmost counties of Texas as well as areas of northern Mexico. They offer a wide range of high-tech solutions for businesses and organizations. Make Core Business Solutions your solution today.
Tokyo Garden of Laredo is located at 2515 East Del Mar Boulevard, and they serve the best sushi in town. Stop by Tokyo Garden for a quick lunch or a fancy dinner. Either way, you're going to enjoy our fine cuisine. Did you just get off work? Then come on by and check out our happy hour specials. Tokyo Garden, where you'll find the best sushi in Laredo.
Right now, when you sign up for a Gold's Gym membership, you'll get tons of extras completely free. Confidence, free. Compliments from your coworkers, free. And the desire to wear tiny bathing suits, you guessed it, free. You'll be stronger with extras, and you'll be stronger with Gold's Gym. Know your own strength. Tiny bathing suit not included.
Pro Mega Signs of Laredo is there for all of your printing and signage needs. We can be found at 1615 Jackman Road in Laredo, or you can reach us by phone at 956-723-2110. Again, that's 956-723-2110. If you need a sign, big or small, come to Pro Mega Signs of Laredo, where your print job is just around the corner.
Miller invented light beer, the original light Pilsner, and that changed everything. This led to people wondering L-I-T-E, that's how you spell light, which led to people thumbing through their dictionaries, which led to there's got to be a better way to look up words, which led to the invention of spell check, which led to better resumes, promotions, celebrations, and happy hour. Miller Lite, we invented light beer and happy hour. You're welcome. 12 ounces contain 96 calories, 3.2 carbs, 1 protein, 0 fat. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
In over 40 years, nobody's helped more families achieve the American dream of home ownership than Armadillo. In fact, Armadillo Homes has built more homes than all other builders combined. And there are reasons for this: integrity, responsibility, service, and of course, quality. So if you're thinking about making the greatest investment in your life, think of the one builder who's dedicated its entire life to helping the Laredo family. Think Armadillo Homes, armadillohomes.com. Go Lemurs.
We all know we can accomplish more when we're ready. That's why I've chosen Texas A&M International University. I want a 4-year degree and the opportunities that it brings. TAMU has welcomed me and more than 7,000 students from around the world. TAMU empowers me to greatness, ignites my mind, and propels me to my future and my impact. Imagine the possibilities when you're powered by TAMU.
Register now for summer and fall. Visit tamu.edu and get powered.
All right, Kevin Taylor going to start it off for the Lemurs. A new pitcher in for Wichita, Brad Orsi taking over on the mound. So John Link's day is done. A 5-5 tie here as we start off the 7th inning. Here's the pitch and swung on and lifted into the air into left field. Harrison Kane's got this one under control. He camps underneath it and makes the catch as he looks up into the sunshine. One down, and Dennis Phipps the batter. So one pitch and one out for Brad Orsi as he's introduced. Orsi starting the day with a record of no wins and 1 loss. He has a 6.35 ERA through 6 games on the mound. He's thrown in 5 2/3 innings, given up 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He has walked 2 and has struck out 5 batters. So here's Phipps into the batter's box. Batting in the 4 spot tonight for Laredo with a 5-5 tie, and Phipps will take a low one outside. So the first pitch makes it a count of 1 ball and no strikes. And the delivery from Orsi. Orsi throws a strike on the outside corner right at the thigh level of Dennis Phipps. A good fastball there. Dennis Phipps is the beer batter today. The 1-1 pitch swung on and grounded on 2 hops over to Middlestead at third base. He has a long throw. It's on 1 hop, and it's in time to get the out. Espinoza was able to keep his foot on the bag somehow.
Hey, when your teenage driver
Throw was a little bit offline, and Espinoza leaning, kept his foot on the bag, and there's quickly 2 down.
Teen Safe Driver Program. Contact an American Family Insurance agent today or visit teensafedriver.com.
So the next batter for Laredo is Travis Dinker.
First baseman number 28, Travis Dinker.
Dinker struck out back in the first, hit a sacrifice fly that drove in a run in the 3rd inning, and reached on an error in the 5th. That error was the run that was able to bring home a run for the Laredo Lemurs. Dennis Phipps was coming in to score there. Here's the pitch. A strike on the outside part of the plate. So Dennis was at second base at the time, and when Denker reached on the air by the third baseman, the ball ended up going past the first baseman and into foul territory, and that allowed Phipps to come all the way around and score. The next pitch misses away. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Travis. 2 outs in the inning, a 5-5 tie here in Wichita. And the delivery. Swung on, hit high in the air over to the left side. That's going to get into foul territory, and Middlestad's going to try to make a play on it in the bullpen. He almost came up with it. Wow. He had a long way to go from this third base position. The ball was hit so high in the air, he was trying to make the catch over his head, but he wasn't able to run it down, so Denker will get another shot. And he had, not only did Middlestad have to run a long way, but he had to do a little maneuvering down there in the Wichita bullpen to move around some chairs and around some of the guys. And he still had a very good chance to catch that ball. So Denker looking at a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Travis. Brad Orsi has spent all of his time in minor league baseball in the Indy ranks. Started off back in 2012 in the Pecos League. The 2-2 pitch. High for a ball as well. It's going to make it a 3-2 count. A pitch with the Alpine team in the Pecos League. They're in Alpine, Texas, called the Alpine Cowboys. Yippee-ki-yay. Here's the 3-2. Low and outside. Ball 4 to Denker. So after 2 quick outs, Denker earns a walk, and J.D. Pulfer will get a chance. So Pulfer, who doubled back in the first inning, he drove in 3 runs back there. It was a big hit there for the Laredo Lemurs. There was 2 outs at the time with the bases loaded. Pulfer drove one down into right field, and it went all the way out to the wall. Pulfer ended up with a double, and it cleared the bases off. So he's probably got the biggest hit for the Lemurs today. In fact, he does have the biggest hit for the Lemurs today. Let's see if he can get another one here. Pulfer takes a look at this one. It misses outside. So Orsi played for that Alpine team. He moved on the following year, played for Alpine at the beginning, and then played for Rio Grande Valley in 2013, the Rio Grande Valley White Wings of the United League. Last year, he played for Rio Grande Valley, also for the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks. Rio Grande Valley last year ended up winning the United League championship. And this year, they're not playing baseball in the United League. There's a lot of guys that came out of the Rio Grande Valley White Wings last year, and after their season was over, got scattered around the American Association. Here's a high pop-up over to center field. Van Stratton's got this one under control. He'll jog in and make the catch right at his shoulder, and that's going to be it for Laredo. We're through 6.5. We're knotted up at 5 apiece. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch here in Wichita.
Since Extending Technologies opened for business in 1998, they have worked to establish solid relationships with their clients. They are set to maintain the highest standards of service and integrity and to perform work of only the highest quality, achieving client satisfaction on every project. They have attained these goals through a tradition of care and professional pride. They serve a wide range of corporations and small business franchises. Extending Technologies has the tools and expertise for any technical need that your business may have. Call us here in Laredo at 725-2654. That's 725-2654 for Ascending Technologies.
Todos sabemos que podemos lograr más cuando estamos listos. Por eso, decidí matricularme en Texas A&M International University. Quiero un título universitario y las oportunidades que me brindará. Tammy U me ha recibido a mí y a 7,000 estudiantes de todo el mundo. Tammy U me impulsa a ser grande, enciende mi mente y hace mi corazón latir. Imagina las posibilidades cuando eres impulsado por Tammy U.
Inscríbete ahora para verano y otoño. Visita tammyu.edu y sé impulsado.
Capital Care EMS, located at 1510 Calle Norte, Suite number 11, invites you to experience a new standard in medical transportation, servicing Laredo and all surrounding areas. Capital Care EMS provides transports to wound care treatments, HBO treatments, dialysis treatments, doctor's appointments, radiation treatments, chemotherapy treatments, and many more. From emergency medical transport to x-rays and lab work, our state-certified EMTs and paramedics are readily available 24 hours a day when you need them most. Capital Care EMS accepts most major medical insurances, including Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and many more. Capital Care EMS is locally owned and operated. Call now for your free consultation. 956-712-8911. That's 956-712-8911. Capital Care EMS, creating a new standard in medical transportation. Capital Care EMS, the official ambulance of your Laredo Lemurs.
Todos sabemos que
Brent Dean starts it off for the Wingnuts. It's 7-8-9 in the batting order, and B.J. Hyatt taking over on the mound now for the Laredo Lemurs. We're knotted up at 5 apiece as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And away we go with Hyatt on the mound. He kicks and throws home, and a strike on the outside corner from Hyatt, a big right-handed pitcher. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. And Hyatt this year with a record of 4 wins and no losses. His ERA is up over 2 for the first time all season after his last outing just the other day against Wichita. No balls and a strike. He kicks and throws home, and that one is swung on and missed. A fastball away, and that was off the plate by about 6 inches. So no balls and 2 strikes to Brent Dean. Yeah, Hyatt gave up 3 runs the other day, and that put his ERA up over 2. That's only the first time this year he's given up 3 runs in an outing. He gave up 2 runs in an outing against Wichita back on August 14th at home against in Laredo. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on and missed, and a breaking ball there, and Dean way out in front. And a nasty pitch, nasty combination of pitches, in fact, from B.J. Hyatt. And here comes Taylor Smart to the plate. So over the last 4 games, it's just been unlike B.J. Hyatt, even though he had 2 games there in the middle that he did very good. On August 14th, he gave up those 2 runs against Wichita, and then on the 21st, he gave up 3 runs against Wichita, and 2 games squeezed in between where he pitched a good solid inning in both of them and ended up picking up the win against the teams he pitched against, once against Wichita and one against Sioux Falls. Here's the pitch to Smart. Smart swings and grounds one over to the shortstop, Pulfer, with a backhand, and the ball bounces right out of his mitt. Pulfer had the ball bounce up. It hit right in the palm of the mitt. When he was reaching in to grab it, the ball ended up coming out. His throwing hand, which is his right hand, never actually got to the ball. So Leo Vargas coming up to the plate. Well, Pulfer having a tough series here as far as making the errors go. He's made 3 errors in the series. He had 2 yesterday and 1 today. Now Bel Nieves is going to come up and have a chat with B.J. Hyatt. Tell him a little bit maybe about Leo Vargas. Of course, Nieves is a former member of the Wingnuts, so he might have an idea what B.J. Hyatt can do here to help get an out. Or maybe he's telling him, hey, keep an eye on Taylor Smart over there at first base. Don't fall asleep on that guy. Smart's pretty quick, but he has not stolen a base yet for the Wingnuts. And a toss goes over to first base. Danker has to hop up into the air to pull it down. He's able to do so as Taylor Smart gets back in safely. Man, Danker not the tallest guy, but he made a good leap there to pull the ball down. Hyatt almost emailed it into the stands, or airmailed it. I guess he didn't email it. He almost airmailed it. Guess he could email it. Here's the pitch. Swung and a liner up the middle. That's going to fall for a single. So Smart reaches on an error. Now Vargas with a base hit, and Nick Van Straten coming up to the plate. So runners at first and second base for Wichita, and 1 out. Lemurs looking for the double play ball now. Not easy to double off Nick Van Straten, though. In fact, all these guys on the base paths right now are pretty quick. And now here comes manager Pete Gavilia out of the dugout. So we're going to have a little bit of a breather here with Pete Gavilia walking out to the mound. So the whole infield's going to join in on this conversation. Nobody warming up in the bullpen, so this isn't a pitching change. This is just going to be a conversation. And he goes right up and gets nose to nose with B.J. Hyatt and tells him what he wants out of him. So a quick conversation there, and I don't think anybody else needed to be in on that conversation. It was B.J. Hyatt and Pete Gavilia, and that was it.
fans, why don't you get those 50-50 raffle tickets out? We'll announce this afternoon's winning raffle ticket number. Are you ready?
So over at second base is Taylor Smart. At first base, Leo Vargas. Van Stratton coming up to the plate.
5409. 8175-409.
Well, some things have changed on the scoreboard as we take a look around at what's going on in the rest of the league, and I'll give you some of the finals. Here's the pitch to Van Stratton, and he takes a fastball low. Ottawa beats Winnipeg today, a 7-6 final there. The Ottawa champions beat the Winnipeg Goldeyes. Fargo over Gary, a 12-3 final up in Fargo. Joplin, they've come back and taken the lead over the T-Bones. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Joplin 6, Kansas City 5. And here's the 1-0. That one misses low. Amarillo 12, Grand Prairie 2, and Sioux Falls and St. Paul will play later. They have a 5 o'clock game, so will Sioux City and Lincoln also at 5 o'clock. So the biggest game the Lemurs are concerned about is the Joplin game. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Bunt shown and pulled back by Van Stratton. He'll take a strike on the outside corner. 2-1 now. Six hits for each club. 3 errors today for the Lemurs. 1 error for the Wingnuts. And the bottom line is it's a 5-5 tie. Hyatt checks on second base. He throws. And it's low. A snap throw down to first, and it gets away from Danker. And that's going to move the runners up. Running the ball down is Abel Nieves. So Smart moves up to third, Vargas up to second, and it's going to be an error on the catcher on the throw. That'll be the 4th error in the game by Laredo. Well, Phil Pohl trying to help his team out. And Danker was trying to get to the bag at first, and the throw was a little bit wild. Danker had to just try to knock it down the best he could. He actually had to spread out for it. And he was able to at least get a mid on it to save it from going into right field. The run would have definitely come in to score if he wasn't able to put a mid on it at all. So now the infield's going to play in for the Lemurs with runners at second and third. And they're just going to go and walk Van Stratton and load the bases. So an intentional walk. And Jace Ray going to come up to the plate. So 1 out, and the base is loaded for the Wingnuts. So a big opportunity for Wichita. Action now for the Lemurs. John Brebbia is up and throwing. Of course, the Lemurs with a short bullpen today because Willie Paredes, one of their bullpen guys, actually started on the mound. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and lifted into the air into center field. This should be far enough to bring home a run. Coming in is, no, actually, Ty Morrison is actually in shallow center field as the ball comes back in. Silverio has a hard time wrangling. It bounces over to Danker, and that will keep the runner at bay.
Now batting for the Wingnuts, first baseman number 7, David Espinosa.
So 2 down, and David Espinosa is going to be the batter. So the bases remain loaded. Phil Pohl walking up and talking things over again with Hyatt, and Espinosa is going to be the batter. We're in the bottom of the 7th, so still a couple innings to go here. The only other bullpen guy the Lemurs have is De La Cruz. They haven't used him yet. They've used Beckman, Paredes, Hyatt, and now here comes Pete Incaviglia. And it looks like Brebbia is going to be left to go for the next inning or two. So Hyatt's going to be taken out of the ball game. This is the second outing there for manager Pete Incaviglia to the mound. All right, well, we're going to take a timeout. Brebbia is going to come into the game, and we're locked up at 5 apiece in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Hey, ¿tienes algo que celebrar? ¿Que le salió el primer diente a tu hijo? ¿Que tu abuelita aprendió a tuitear? ¿Que cambiaste tu cheque? La respuesta es la misma. Pues un carnesazo. No importa lo que estés celebrando, lo que importa es que lo celebres. Pues con un carnesazo de H-E-B. En H-E-B encuentras gran variedad de cortes a precios bajos y de buena calidad. Carnesazo. Carne asada con ganas, solo en H-E-B.
Before your Memorial Day party gets going, drive over to Ashley Furniture Home Store this week for our best Memorial Day sale ever. Get dramatic price reduction store-wide or no interest until January 2021. Choose from sofas and sectionals, all at unbelievably low prices. Plus, find savings on beds and amazing deals on dining rooms. It's our best Memorial Day sale ever, so don't wait. Hurry over to Ashley Furniture Home Store right now. Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home. 4520 San Bernardo Avenue, Laredo, Texas, 956-712-2401. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
3, 2, 1. Number one. That's Laredo's #1 Chevy dealer. Family Chevrolet turns the best day ever into the best month ever. 15% off. Not good enough, but 25% off. Now that makes it the best month ever. With over 600 vehicles available, makes it the best pricing ever. 2015 Equinox, 2015 Traverse. Not 15, but 25% off. And the best financing rates for the best month ever. 1.9 interest. Family Chevrolet of Laredo.com. Come see why the deals are always better at Family Chevrolet. Family Chevrolet is the #1 volume Chevy dealer for a reason. Every customer rides during our spring cleaning closeout sale with massive price cuts on 600 Chevys. New 2015 Chevy Cruze. How about 25% off MSRP? Wow, that's huge. Or only $199 a month. New 2015 Malibu for only $269 a month. Or 25% off MSRP. Plus 2 years free maintenance and a 100,000-mile warranty. It's a spring cleaning closeout sale happening now at the #1 volume Chevy dealer. Come see all the deals.
All right, so Brebria takes over on the hill. David Espinoza coming up to the plate. Espinoza's 0 for 2 with a couple of walks today. So the bases are loaded. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, a 5-5 tie, and Brebria is being brought in to go ahead and squash this fire right now that the Wichita Wingnuts have going. Here's the first pitch, swung and grounded foul. That goes chopping over by the first base side dugout. So Brebria starts the day with a record of 6 wins and 2 losses. He has a 1.03 ERA. He's pitching in his 45th game of the year. He's currently 4th in the league in appearances. He's 3rd in the league in saves with 17. And the pitch to Espinoza from Brebria. Here it is. That's over the plate for a strike. A breaking ball there from Brebria. Brebria will bring a fastball, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. And that pitch right there, that last one was his changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch, a check swing. Did he go around? And he did. That's going to do it for Wichita. So John Brebria comes in, he does his job, and that's going to help out the Laredo Lemurs. And now Kevin Hooper's going to come down and talk to the third base umpire, the home plate umpire. I don't think that he liked the fact that they asked for the third base umpire to give him a call there, because the third base umpire was between 2nd and 3rd at the time on the check swing. Nonetheless, the Lemurs get out of the inning. We're going to the top of the 8th. We're all locked up at 5 apiece. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
Right now, you could be working towards an exciting new career in business administration. At Catholic College Laredo, you'll have the chance to gain professional skills and hands-on training. Earning a business degree could open the door to new career opportunities in fields such as accounting, human resources, banking, and marketing. Start on the path to your new career at Kaplan College. Call 800-617-0800. Right now, you could be working towards an exciting new career in business administration. At Kaplan College Laredo, you'll have the chance to gain professional skills and hands-on training. Earning a business degree could open the door to new career opportunities in fields such as accounting, human resources, banking, and marketing. Start on the path to your new career at Kaplan College. Call 800-617-0800.
Kaplan College does not guarantee employment or career advancement. Information about programs at www.kaplancollege.com/consumer-info.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Honey Mustard Whata Chicken Club. The chicken is hot and fresh. It's got melted Monterey Jack cheese topped with lettuce, tomato, bacon, and then the honey mustard adds a nice sweet flavor to it.
All the flavors come together just perfect. I mean, not only do I want to eat it, but I keep wanting to look at it.
The crunchiness of the bacon adds a really nice texture.
Honey mustard and chicken just go together. You know, sweet and savory, it's a perfect mix.
Try the new Honey Mustard Whata Chicken Club.
Only at Whataburger for a limited time.
All right, the Lemurs are looking for Drew Martinez, Juan Silveria, and Phil Pohl to come on down. They're the nest contestants on The Price is Right.
Center fielder number 4, Drew Martinez.
So a 5-5 tie here as we go to the 8th inning. And staying on the mound is Brad Orsi for the Wichita Wingnuts. So Martinez on the day. He picked up a base hit in his last at bat in the 6th inning. He's officially 1 for 3. He is lined out hard twice today. Here's the pitch, and it's outside for a ball. Yeah, Martinez lined out to the shortstop back in the 1st inning. That actually ended the inning. And then he lined out to center field back in the 4th inning for the first out in the 4th. Here's the 1-0 delivery. He swings and misses here at a breaking ball. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Martinez wears a shin guard on his lead leg, his right leg, to protect from foul balls. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A strike on the inside corner right at the belt. A fastball from Orsi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Advantage Orsi. Let's see what Drew Martinez does here to protect the plate. Here it comes, and that one's going to miss outside. So Orsi didn't have to come in there. Throws a little bit outside. And really not a tempting pitch to Drew Martinez. He was able to lay off of it pretty easily. So now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch, swung and lifted foul over to the left side. That'll get back him to the stands. So the Lemurs heading home after this one tonight. They'll pack up the bus and I don't know, it's about a 14, 15-hour ride back to Laredo, Texas from Wichita. So they'll be pulling into Wichita early in the morning. The 2-2 pitch swung on, and look out in the stands. That one got up there quickly. So still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Drew Martinez. Not a lot of left-handed batters up here, so they don't see a whole lot of action on the left side. So people on the left side of the field kind of get lulled to sleep. And then all of a sudden foul balls come their way and they're woken up. A lot of stuff goes over to the right side because you know more right-handed batters. So those people on the right side, on the first base side, they're alive. They're ready to go at all times. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung in a ground ball. One hopped right back to Orsi. He'll do an overhand toss over to first base and get the out. Juan Silverio now, the batter for the Laredo Lemurs. Silverio with a hit. He came back in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. His other 2 at-bats, he flew out to right field. So Silverio, the batter. Here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, all-turf field. And the field here, as you work towards the sidelines, as the pitch comes in, it's in there for a strike. As you go towards the dugouts, the field slopes downwards towards the dugouts. So if you're a fielder that has to run over there, it makes it a little bit tougher because it's not all flat ground. Here's the 1-0, excuse me, the 0-1. Swung on and missed, 0-2. So as you're running towards the stands, if you're a fielder trying to get a ball in foul territory, the field's going to slope downward. It's kind of a weird angle there. No balls and 2 strikes. You see that in some big league ballparks too. I wonder if that's just how they're made. The 0-2 swung on and lifted into left field. This one is going to be a foul ball by about 3 feet, just out of the range of Harrison Kane in left field. So still no balls and 2 strikes to Silverio.
Every Sunday here at the Wingnuts games is Fun Day Sunday. Kids can run the bases after
So Silverio grabs his bat. That was up the first base line.
catch on the field just like the pros do as well.
He's going to go ahead and get back into the batter's box.
30 minutes after the game to play catch on the field every Sunday here.
Silverio starting the day batting .253 for Laredo. Overall in the series now with that hit that he got earlier. He now has 4 hits in the series. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Did he go around? They'll check with the first base umpire. He says no, he did not. So that one was up and in, and Silverio was able to lay off of it with the check swing. Now it's a 1-2 count. And the next pitch swung on and fouled back up here. Woo! Did not want that one coming by me. Right underneath us, folks. So keep the count at 1-2 strikes. And the pitch. Swung and a ground ball over to the right of Smart. Smart bobbles the ball and it kicks off of his glove. So we'll see what they score that one. Probably be an error on Smart. But nonetheless, the Lemurs have a base runner, and that's definitely something they need. So error or not, the Lemurs have somebody on base. So here comes Phil Pohl to the plate. Pohl batting in the 9 spot. And Orsi's going to get the sign from Brent Dean behind the plate. Here's the pitch. And that buckles the legs of Phil Pohl. As it comes over the plate, had a little break to it, and he takes it for a strike. So 0-1 to Pohl. Pohl on the day is 0 for 3. He's looking for his first hit of the day, and wouldn't be a bad time to get it. The 0-1. That one is on the inner third of the plate, a strike. That was a little bit above the knees with a changeup. No balls and 2 strikes and a toss over to first. Silverio barely off of the bag, but Orsi throwing over there anyway. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swung and a hard hit. Ground ball past the diving Taylor Smart. It's into left field for a base hit. Silverio moves up to second base. And Phil Pohl has his first hit of the ball game. By the way, Silverio did reach on an error. And Ty Morrison now going to have a chance to swing the bat with runners at first and second base. So the go-ahead run for the Lemurs as at second. Bullpen action for Wichita. And I see a couple of guys in the Wichita dugout looking down in the bullpen. We'll see how long Orsi lasts here. We might see Hooper coming out of the dugout here any moment. And he is getting up to the top step, and he's staying in the dugout. So Morrison is going to face off against Brad Orsi. The guy warming up in the bullpen is a lefty. So I thought they might bring him in. Here's the pitch. Swung on and a liner down the right field line. That one is going to be a foul ball. It went over the fence, but a foul ball. So Morrison hits it well, but just a little bit foul. And the first base umpire down the line had a really good view of it. A 5-5 tie here in the top of the 8th. Been a long day at the ballpark already. The Lemurs have walked 10 batters today. Actually, with the intentional walk, make it 11. No balls and a strike. And the pitch to Morrison. He takes low. That'll even up the count at 1-1. Really kind of surprised Wichita didn't bring in the left-handed pitcher to throw to the left-handed batter. But maybe they're holding on for Kevin Taylor to come up to the plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside for a ball. 2-1, so now the advantage moves to Ty Morrison. He should see something good to hit here on the next pitch because Orsi does not want to fall behind 3-1. Well, Morrison's got something good to hit on the first pitch that he saw. Hit it very well down the right field line, but it was a little bit foul. It went over the fence, but foul. Here's the 2-1. Swung and fouled back into the screen. So make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch was on the outside part of the plate to Ty Morrison. Was able to get a piece of the bat on it. Morrison today has walked a couple of times. He's also grounded out twice. He scored a run for the Lemurs. That came back in the first inning. Abel Nieves is on deck for Laredo. The 2-2. Swung and grounded foul at the plate. That hits the plate, comes back up and hits Morrison. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch coming up here for Ty. Go-ahead run is Juan Silverio at second base. Here's the pitch. Swung and a liner down the left field line. It's going to be a fair ball. It's going to be for extra bases. Silverio's going to come in to score. Phil Pohl's going to be waved around third base. No, now he's going to be held up. The tag, and he's out. He overran third. He was being held up. Taylor Smart, the shortstop, cut it off, threw the ball to the third baseman. They laid down the tag, and Pohl is out. So Silverio comes in to score from second base. Pohl just rounds the bag barely and has to go back in. The put out there is going to go 7-6 to 5. That'll be the second out. But Ty Morrison with a big base hit. He gets a double, and he drives in a run, and the Lemurs have a one-run lead. And by the way, Morrison is at second base. Well, I said he had a double, but just wanted to reiterate. So a runner in scoring position still for Abel Nieves. Here's the pitch to Nieves, and he takes high. So an unfortunate mishap there for the Lemurs as the Wichita Wingnuts were able to get Pohl. And a good job by the third base coach, Gibby Vellacuellar, to hold him up, but the Wichita Wingnuts were all over it. Cutting it to third base. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed, and Abel Nieves was fooled on that one. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Lemurs can still grab another run here. So Orsi, he gets the sign. He'll come set. He'll look back at second a couple of times, and now the pitch to Nieves is called a strike on the inside corner. Nieves thought that one was inside. Well, the sunshine raining down right now here at the ballpark. There's been a few scattered clouds that have come and gone. The 1-2 pitch in tight. That's a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the clouds go by the sun and creates a little shade for us. It gets a little cooler, and then it goes away, and it starts to warm up again. We need that constant sun today because it's not all that hot. It's only 75 degrees here. Very comfortable day at the ballpark. The 2-2 pitch swung and popped up, and that'll get back up into the stands. Actually up and over the stands. So 2 balls and 2 strikes again to Abel Nieves. Well, the ball ended up coming down. So somehow got up on the roof and bounced back down. Came down pretty late, though. So Nieves is taking a timeout here. He's adjusting his shin guard, I believe. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Orsi, a right-handed pitcher, bobbles the ball around in his back, behind his hand, or in his hand, not behind his hand. The 2-2. Swung and a fly ball hit into right field. Jace Ray's going back. He's got this one under control. He'll make the catch. And that'll do it for the Laredo Lemurs. But they strike, and they get a very important run. It's 1 run on 2 hits. There was an error, and 1 left. We're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Lemurs are up 6-5. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball.
South Texas families never strike out with Driscoll Health Plan. Catch the value-added services we pitch to our Medicaid members. Enjoy a free membership to specific boys and girls clubs. Receive gift cards for completing Texas healthcare checkups. Restrictions and limitations may apply. Visit us at DriscollHealthPlan.com.
We'd like to imagine that if you're listening to this It's on a radio in a backyard in between innings. The grass was mowed this morning, and the grill smells like heaven. And what do you know? Your friends just arrived with a 24-pack of Miller Lite, along with a few new friends to enjoy them with. Here's hoping we're right, and you're not just stuck in traffic. Here's hoping it's Miller time.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2015 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Do you want to sit in a car for 7 hours, risk a flat tire, traffic, or highway construction delays? Fly direct from Laredo International Airport to Dallas-Fort Worth on American Airlines. From Dallas, you can change planes and take a flight to Tokyo, London, or even Rio de Janeiro. With 4 daily arrivals and departures, American Airlines is sure to have a connection that works best for you. So avoid spending hours in the car or risk an accident on the highway or even a flat tire. Fly in comfort from Laredo International Airport. Visit AA.com for details and to book a reservation.
Crowd at the bar making you sweat?
Uh-huh.
Could you use some ice-cold refreshment?
You bet.
Then Coors Light may be right for you. Could result in epic nights, maximum refreshment, great times, awesome memories, high fives, smiles, Rocky Mountain refreshment, Blue Mountain refreshment, quadruple epic refreshment, killer parties, and totally refreshed killer parties. Ask your bartender for Coors Light today.
Definitely.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility. And totally refreshed.
All right, bottom of the 8th inning. Lemurs up 6-5. And it's going to be Andy LaRoche to start it off, followed by TJ Middlestat and then Harrison Kane coming up to the plate. 6 runs on 8 hits and 4 errors today for the Lemurs. 5 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors for the Wingnuts. So 6 errors between the two clubs. And here's De La Cruz. And the pitch swung on and missed. Oh, and a big swing there by Andy LaRoche. He was going for the long ball. No balls and 2 strikes. So he's behind in the count. John Burbria with the advantage. And Burbria back up on top of the mound. He's working from the full windup. And here's the pitch. Whoa, look out. And that hits LaRoche on the arm. Yikes. So that'll put a runner at first base, and LaRoche got it on the forearm there. Ball just got away from Burbria. You don't see that too often. That might be the first guy Burbia's hit all year. I have to take a look at the stats here on that. Actually, it's the 4th person he has hit with a pitch. We had a guy a couple of years ago with the Laredo Lemurs. He would hit guys like every other batter. He'd hit somebody. Seth Lintz. He would do it all the time. Here's TJ Middlestat. And the first pitch to Middlestat is a little bit high, I think. It was over the plate, but it must have been high because the Lemurs did not get the call. 6-5 Laredo, runner at first base. And the 1-0. That one just outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Oh, LaRoche took that ball off the forearm like a major leaguer. It was absolutely amazing. He backed out of the batter's box, dropped the bat, and went to first base. As that pitch is fouled away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Of course, we mentioned he has a lot of time in the big leagues under his belt. But that hurt. I mean, you could hear the smack off the forearm all the way up here. And not that we're all that far away, but it was very loud. So you know it caught him pretty flush on the forearm. Here's the 2-1 pitch. High for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. So now Burbria has fallen behind 3-1 to TJ Middlestat. Middlestat has already walked twice today. But as hard as that ball hit LaRoche, you would expect him to be in excruciating pain, but he never rubbed it. He never, waved his arm around trying to get some of the blood into it. The 3-1 pitch is outside. That's ball 4. Runners at first and second base now for the Wingnuts. So the Lemurs right into trouble here with nobody out. Runners at first and second base, and that'll bring up Harrison Kane. Well, Hooper
going through a set of signs, and more than likely we'll see a bunt here from Harrison Kane, even though Kane has been hitting the ball well. Juan Silverio is going to go through a set of signs for the defense. So the third baseman puts on the defensive play for the Laredo Lemurs. So LaRoche is over at second, Middlestat at first base, Harrison Kane into the batter's box with nobody out. He shows bunt and watches it go by, and somehow that's not called a strike. That one was clearly over the plate. And I could hear manager Pete Gavilia all the way from up here. Not happy about the call. 1-0. And the next pitch misses low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. I think Pete's just at a point of so much frustration that he's not even going to worry about arguing about the balls and the strikes right now. At least come out and light up poor Chance Wilson. 2 balls and no strikes. And the delivery. Bunted in the air. It's going to drop to the ground. Breby's going to have to grab it and throw quickly to first base. And it's going to be not in time. So Brebria thought about trying to grab it while the ball was in the air, then decided against it. Had to go around the baseball and come back and throw quickly over to first base. And Harrison Kane has a lot of speed, and he was able to beat it out. So a misplay there by Brebria. And now the runner is at first, and the bases are loaded. Here comes Brent Dean to the plate. So now the tying run 90 feet away, the go-ahead run 180 feet away. For the Wichita Wingnuts, the infield's going to play in again here for the Lemurs. They're not worried about the double play ball at all. They're worried about that run coming home. So here's Brent Dean. So at third base is LaRoche. At second, Middlestat. At first is Kane. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Swung on and missed. Well, Brebry is just going to attack these guys. We're at the 7, 8, 9 part of the batting order. And Brebry is just going to go right after him. He's pitching for a strikeout right now. No balls and a strike. Dean struck out in his last at bat. The delivery swung on and fouled away off to the right side, and that'll get into the stands. Take a big hop and go even further up the stands. 6-5 Laredo, but that's in danger right now with the threatening inning put together by the Wichita Wingnuts. LaRoche was hit by a pitch, Middlestat was walked, and then a bunt base hit by Harrison Kane. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the delivery. Swung on and missed. There's strike 3, and that's exactly what the Lemurs are looking for there. So Brent Dean strikes out for the 2nd time in a row. That's a big one for Laredo, and here comes Taylor Smart to the plate. Well, now the double play ball will end the inning, and the Lemurs middle infielders are still playing in. Kind of surprised they won't move them back a little bit. In case they get a ball up the middle, they definitely want to try to turn a double play, and where they're playing now, it's going to be virtually impossible to do so. So here's Taylor Smart, and the pitch swung on, and that one's fouled off the catcher's mask. So Phil Pohl gets rocked a little bit. No balls and a strike. I guess the Lemurs are thinking that, you know, there's no guarantee that we'll be able to turn to, especially with a guy like Taylor Smart running, which is, you know, a smart thought. No balls, 1 strike. And the pitch. Inside for a ball. That almost hit Taylor Smart. 1 ball and 1 strike. Berbria holds the ball behind his back. Now he brings his hands together. He'll throw it home, and it is a breaking ball, misses outside. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Taylor Smart. Smart on the day. He reached on an error back in the first, reached on the fielder's choice and scored a run in the third. Lined out to the second baseman in the 4th inning and reached on an error by the shortstop Pulfer in the 7th. So he doesn't have an official hit in the ballgame. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. A fastball just off the plate inside. And Smart can't lay off of that one, making it a 2-2 count. So Berbria once again going after the strikeout here. He's got 1 pitch to work with. He doesn't have to come across the plate here on the 2-2 pitch. And the delivery. Inside for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lemurs dugout upset about that one. They thought that was a strike. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. There's strike 3. And Taylor Smart goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts in a row by John Berbria. And Leo Vargas coming up to the plate. So the number 9 hitter to the plate now for Wichita. Vargas picked up a hit in his last at bat. Oh, Berbria comes back out here and gets a strikeout here, man. What a inning it'll be for the Laredo Lemurs. Here's the pitch. He swings and misses at the first one. No balls, 1 strike. And if you're Leo Vargas, you're just thinking, got to put the ball in play somehow. You know, even if you got to shorten up, you got to put the ball in play and see what happens. Because there's nothing happening when you strike out. He's got a little bit of a choke job going on the bat. Here's the pitch. He checks his swing. Did he go around? He did, says the first base umpire. So no balls and 2 strikes. An 0-2 count. Berbria rubbing up the baseball as he steps back up on the rubber. No balls and 2 strikes. And a big one coming up here. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed! Strike 3! And that's going to put away the Wingnuts. The Lemurs are going to go back into the dugout with the lead after they load the bases here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And a big job there by John Berbria. Wow, 3 straight strikeouts to end the inning. And the Lemurs hold on to the 6-5 lead. We're going to go to the top of the 9th inning.
Texas Inflatable Rentals has Laredo's largest water slides. We're proud to say that we serve the greater Laredo area and supply slip sliding fun for kids of all ages. Texas Inflatable Rentals has a huge selection of inflatables for every budget. And to add to the party, we rent tables, chairs, snow cone machines, popcorn machines, and cotton candy machines that will help take your party to the next level. We also have moonwalks and bounce houses. Contact Texas Inflatable Rentals at 956-436-3909 or at texasinflatablerentals.com and book with the coupon code LEMURS for a 10% discount. That's Texas Inflatable Rentals, Laredo's largest water slide.
Looking to travel this summer? If the year-round flights to Las Vegas aren't fit for you, take advantage of Allegiant's direct flights from Laredo International Airport to Orlando. For as low as $119 round trip, you and your family can be in Orlando in 2.5 hours. Fly in comfort from your Laredo International Airport. Visit Allegiant.com for details and specials. Texas Outlaw Grill is a proud sponsor of your Laredo Lemurs, specializing in outlaw delicacies such as the Texican, the Gringo,
and the Bandit hot dog and their ever-famous barbecue burger. Be the first to try their groundbreaking Cabrito hamburger and Cabrito hot dog. For all to-go orders, catering, and fundraising information, go by 5209 Springfield Suite number 4 or call 956-771-1919. That's Texas Outlaw Grill.
Welcome to Whataburger. Today we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
Wow, it's beautiful.
2 beef patties, American cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, bacon, grilled onions, the sweet and spicy pepper sauce.
Sweet in the front and then the spicy in the back. I like it. I like it a lot.
So it's like a perfect balance, and then that bacon right there, it adds crunchiness.
I'd get back in line and get another one, I'll tell you that much.
Sweet spicy bacon burger. Come down to Whataburger. It's only here for a limited time.
Laredo Sports Medicine Clinic, the official team doctors of your Laredo Lemurs. Now with 2 convenient locations to better serve you. Our north location is located at 9652 McPherson Road, Suite 12. Our south location is located at 5102 State Highway 359. Laredo Sports Medicine offers an array of services from physical therapy to our newest service, orthopedic surgery. Laredo Sports Medicine Clinic is changing orthopedic care one athlete at a time. Visit our website at laredosportsmed.com for more information.
All right, the Lemurs up 6-5, and the new pitcher in for Wichita. It's Paul Smith taking over on the mound. He'll throw home, and Kevin Taylor takes the first pitch, a strike on the outside corner. And, man, a big credit to John Burbia for working the Lemurs out of that inning. He hit Andy LaRose to start off the inning, walked middle stat, so put runners at first and second. Then Harrison Kane got that bunt base hit. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and lifted into left field. That might get into foul territory. A triangle of Wichita Wingnuts going after it, but the ball's going to take a hop and go into the stands. So a foul ball. So, yeah, then Harrison Kane had that bunt base hit where Burbia just sort of misplayed it. Saw the ball go to the ground. He was thinking about trying to grab it in the air, but decided he wasn't going to be able to get to it. Then kind of ran around the ball and came up and grabbed it and threw it over to first base. And it wasn't in time. Kane has a lot of speed. Then he got the next 3 batters to strike out, all swinging. Just an amazing outing there for Burbia. Coming back, bearing down, and putting away the Wichita Wingnuts. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung in a liner, hard hit down the right field line, but very foul. So no balls and 2 strikes to Taylor. Taylor, the number 3 hitter today. He's got a double to his credit. He's also walked, grounded into a double play, and flown out to left field. So no balls and 2 strikes. Taylor leading off here right now. He's the designated hitter. The pitch. Outside, a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Smith with a record of 1 win and no losses. He's pitched in 5 games. He's thrown in 5 innings, has given up 3 hits, has struck out 7, and he hasn't walked anybody in that time. No balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Swung on and lifted foul over to the right. So Taylor way out in front of that one. Pops it into foul territory. In fact, I think that one got back into the parking lot. So we're in the top of the 9th inning. Lemurs would love to get another run or 2 here to go ahead and secure that lead. But even if they don't, they're going to have to come out and do their thing. And it looks like John Burbia is going to be the guy because nobody's warming up in the bullpen for the Lemurs right now. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Taylor strikes out. That was a nasty breaking ball there.
Every season starts at Dennis.
So Dennis Phipps now the batter for the Laredo Lemurs. Travis Dinker will be on deck for Laredo.
Right fielder number 55, Dennis Phipps.
Phipps picked up a base hit and scored a run back in the 5th inning. He walked and scored a run back in the 1st. So Smith working out of the stretch. He'll bring it home to Phipps. Phipps swings and lines one down the left field line, foul. So an 0-1 count to Phipps. Smith dangles his right arm as he looks in to get the sign from the catcher, Brent Dean. And the 0-1 delivery. That one is inside to Dennis. Has to get him hopping out of the way of that one. So 1 ball and 1 strike. one out in the inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled away. Off the end of the bat of Dennis Phipps, and it goes rolling back to the screen. The ball boy will grab that one and throw it across the way over to the other ball boy on the other side. So the ball boy teamwork coming into play there. 1-2. So putting his toe into the rubber is the pitcher, Paul Smith. And he'll set and throw. That one is swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Smith. That was a breaking ball. And 2 down.
Every season starts at Dick.
Here comes Travis Denker. So looking ahead to the Wingnuts, bottom of the 9th inning, it's going to be the top of the order, Van Stratton, Ray, and Espinoza. So that's who's coming up to the plate. That's what's coming up next. So Denker with 2 down coming up to the plate. Travis on the day. He's still in search of his first base hit. He does have a sacrifice fly that drove home a run, though. Here's the pitch to Travis. He'll check his swing, and the home plate umpire said he went around. So no balls and 1 strike. Travis barely took the bat off of his shoulder there, but the home plate umpire rings him up nonetheless. Here comes the 0-1 delivery. Swung on a line drive into right field. Hit pretty well going back, and the ball is Jace Ray, and this one is up and over the wall. It's a home run for Denker. That'll increase the lead to 2 runs for the Laredo Lemurs. And J.D. Pulfer is going to come up to the plate. So a home run for Laredo, and that's their first in the ball game, and Denker crosses the plate.
Shortstop number 10, J.D. Pulfer.
And high fives all around for Travis Denker as he will going down into the dugout. So that makes the lead 7-5 in favor of Laredo. So a little bit of a cushion there for John Burberry when he goes back out to the mound. And Pulfer into the batter's box. And the pitch to Pulfer is swung on and fouled away. For Denker, that's his 2nd home run with the Lemurs this season. Remember, he had one up in Sioux Falls, a line drive in Sioux Falls to left field that got out of the ballpark very quickly. And this one here, he took out the other way down the right field line. Here's the 0-1 to Pulfer, and a breaking ball touches the inside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Pulfer on the day. He's the one that picked up that big double back in the 1st inning to drive in 3 runs. He's 1 for 4 after that, altogether. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Paul Smith strikes out the side, but he gives up a home run to Travis Denker. We're going to go to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Lemurs up 7-5.
Driscoll Health Plan loads the bases with value. We knock it out of the park with all the value-added services we bring to our Medicaid members. Driscoll families cheer on the Grand Slam packages, sports physicals, free memberships to Boys and Girls Clubs, and dental care for pregnant women over 21. Take a swing at our baby showers offered by Cadena de Madre. Forget those peanuts and Cracker Jacks, root for our baby blankets and more. Come slide into home when you receive gift cards for completing Texas Health Steps checkups and attending postpartum visits on time. Don't miss a play. Restrictions and limits may apply. Visit DriscollHealthPlan.com.
This summer, Allegiant will increase to 4 weekly flights to Las Vegas, Nevada. If gambling in Vegas isn't your thing, Allegiant is also increasing to 2 weekly flights to Orlando. Enjoy the Disney theme parks, Legoland, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and the Kennedy Space Center. Fly in comfort from your Laredo International Airport. Visit Allegiant.com for details and specials.
There's a reason why Popeyes creates some of the best tasting chicken in the world. We were born in New Orleans, Louisiana, the land of good fun and great cooking. Spicy flavor is a way of life in New Orleans, and everything we make reflects it. From our Popeyes Bonafide chicken and handcrafted tenders to our home-style mashed potatoes with Cajun gravy and our soft, buttery biscuits, everything we make is made with care and served up fresh. Only at Popeyes.
All right, so Brebria back up on the hill for the Laredo Lemurs. And what does he do for an encore here? We'll have to wait and see as he struck out the side after he loaded the bases there in the 8th inning. Well, now he's got the top of the order coming up to the plate for Wichita. 7-5 Lemurs, 7 runs, 9 hits, 4 errors today for Laredo. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Wichita Wingnuts. The Lemurs today have walked 11 batters, 1 intentionally. And they are still in the lead in this game. Here's the first pitch to Nick Van Stratton. That is taken for a strike. The Wingnuts have left 16 runners on today. The 0-1 pitch is in tight for a ball. And those 16 runners, that might be a league record because that is a lot of runners left on. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Van Stratton struck out his first 2 times up at the plate here today, but then he picked up a single and drove in 2 runs in the 3rd inning. So he's looking at a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch from Brebria, and that one is swung on, hit well into left field. This one's got a lot behind it, and this one is going to be caught at the warning track by Morrison.
Batting for the Wingnuts, right fielder, number 4.
So 1 out, and Jace Ray will be the batter. Well, Van Stratton hit it well, but there's a big difference in the ballpark down the left field line. The fence really jots out from the 330 mark to the 385 mark real quick. So here's Jace Ray coming up to the plate. This ballpark was meant to look like the Royals ballpark when the Kansas City Royals were an affiliate here in Wichita. Here's the first pitch to Jace Ray. He's taking a strike. Yeah, the Royals worked in here for a while, and they put the home run fence up, and they mimicked the one that they have in Kansas City where the big league club plays. Here's the 0-1 delivery taken on the outer third of the plate for a strike, 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Jace Ray. Ray has walked a couple of times. He also has picked up a single today. The 0-2. And that one misses off the plate a little bit. So no balls and 2 strikes. Lemurs up by 2. Bottom of the 9th inning. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and lifted, fell over to the left. So that'll bounce around the stands a little bit. So Brebria has 4 strikeouts in his outing today. Remember, he started off in the bottom of the 7th inning. He came in and got the last out there. Then got the 3 strikeouts in the 8th and has a possible one hanging here in the balance. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled away as well. So Jace Ray hanging tight up there. David Espinoza on deck. We'll get you the scoreboard from around the American Association after the ball game tonight. Bring you up to date on that Joplin, Kansas City score. And if that one's over, then we'll be able to bring you up to date on all the standings. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, a check swing, and it goes rolling over by the Wingnuts dugout. So some new baseballs being brought out from the ball boy. So he'll be refreshed with a home plate umpire. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Brebria back up the backside of the hill. He goes into the full windup. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 2 down. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Lemurs an out away from winning this ball game.
Espinosa.
Here comes comes David Espinoza. Espinoza with a couple of walks. Officially 0 for 3 today. A ground out to the pitcher and a line out to the first baseman, Travis Denker, earlier in the ballgame. He struck out in his last at bat. He's the guy that Barbria struck out first when he came into the ballgame there in the 7th inning. So he's already faced Barbria once. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit deep into right field. This one might get out of here, and it's a home run for David Espinoza. So that's going to bring Wichita within 1, and that's going to bring up Andy LaRoche. So we're not done yet. So Espinoza swings at the first pitch and puts it over the right field wall. That's his 4th home run of the year. And Andy LaRoche is going to be able to swing the bat. Well, remember last time LaRoche was up at the plate, he got hit in the wrist or the forearm, somewhere down there, on a pitch up and in by Barbria. Here's the pitch. The first one is low and away. It's now 7-6 Lemurs. So now a 1-run lead. Well, the Lemurs saw Travis Denker hit that home run to give him a 2-run lead, and it was a good thing he did. Here's the 1-0. A strike on the outer third of the plate, a fastball above the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 outs. The Lemurs need to get Andy LaRoche here to end the ball game. The pitch, swung in and a ground ball over to the shortstop. Pulfer's up with it. He'll throw over to first. It's going to be in time to get the out, and the Lemurs have won the game. Not an easy game to win here today for Laredo, but they win by a final score of 7-6. We're going to take a timeout, come back with the post-game show. You're listening to Laredo Lemurs Baseball, 7-6 Lemurs today.
Thanks for joining us for Laredo Lemurs Baseball, brought to you by Popeye's Chicken, AEP Texas, Armadillo Homes, Ascending Technologies, Ashley's Furniture of Laredo, Capital Care EMS, Chavarias Plumbing, Core Business Solutions, Driscoll Health Plan, Falcon International Bank, Family Chevrolet, Gold's Gym, Guerra Communications, HEB, iGadget Repair Center, Kaplan College, Laredo International Airport, Laredo Pony League, Laredo Sports Medicine, Mike's Paint Place, Pepsi, Pro Mega Signs, Southern Distributing, Southern Sanitation, Talk and Talk Wireless, TAMU Housing and Residence, Texas Farm Bureau, Texas Inflatables, Texas Outlaw Grill, Tokyo Garden, Total Termite Pest and Control, Uni-Trade 40, Whataburger of Alice. The Laredo Lemurs post-game show is coming your way next.
Chavarrias Plumbing's the #1 choice for any plumbing problem. Chavarrias is a full-service company with up-to-date technology, trained professionals. With over 30 years of service to the community, Chavarrias is still growing strong. Visit chavarriasplumbing.com and go Lemurs!
Need a little spark in your life? Then come on out to Uni-Trade Stadium for Friday night fireworks. Tickets start as low as $5, and you'll get to see great baseball and great fireworks all in one night. To get tickets, call 956-7-LEMURS or go online at laredolemurs.com. I'll see you at the ballpark.
Core Business Solutions is a proud sponsor of Lemurs Baseball. Core Business Solutions services the 17 southernmost counties of Texas, as well as areas of northern Mexico. They offer a wide range of high-tech solutions for businesses and organizations. Make Core Business Solutions your solution today.
Tokyo Garden of Laredo is located at 2515 East Del Mar Boulevard, and they serve the best sushi in town. Stop by Tokyo Garden for a quick lunch or a fancy dinner. Either way, you're going to enjoy our fine cuisine. Did you just get off work? Then come on by and check out our happy hour specials. Tokyo Garden, well, you'll find the best sushi in Laredo.
Right now, when you sign up for a Gold's Gym membership, you'll get tons of extras completely free. Confidence, free. Compliments from your coworkers, free. And the desire to wear tiny bathing suits, you guessed it, free. You'll be stronger with extras, and you'll be stronger with Gold's Gym. Know your own strength. Tiny bathing suit not included.
Pro Mega Signs of Laredo is there for all of your printing and signage needs. We can be found at 1615 Jackman Road in Laredo, or you can reach us by phone at 956-723-2110. Again, that's 956-723-2110. If you need a sign, big or small, come to Pro Mega Signs of Laredo, where your print job is just around the corner.
Miller invented light beer, the original light Pilsner, and that changed everything. This led to people wondering L-I-T-E, that's how you spell light, which led to people thumbing through their dictionaries, which led to there's got to be a better way to look up words, which led to the invention of spell check, which led to better resumes, promotions, celebrations, and happy hour. Miller Lite, we invented light beer and happy hour. You're welcome. 12 ounces contain 96 calories, 3.2 carbs, 1 protein, 0 fat. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Now it's time for the Laredo Lemurs post-game show. Laredo Lemurs baseball is brought to you by Popeye's Chicken, AEP Texas, Armadillo Homes, Ascending Technologies, Ashley's Furniture of Laredo, Capital Care EMS, Chavarias Plumbing, Core Business Solutions, Driscoll Health Plan, Falcon International Bank, Family Chevrolet, Gold's Gym, Guerra Communications, HEB, iGadget Repair Center, Kaplan College, Laredo International Airport, Laredo Pony League, Laredo Sports Medicine, Mike's Paint Place, Pepsi, Pro Mega Signs, Southern Distributing, Southern Sanitation, Talk and Talk Wireless, TAMU Housing and Residence, Texas Farm Bureau, Texas Inflatables, Texas Outlaw Grill, Tokyo Garden, Total Termite Pest and Control, Uni-Trade Forwarding, Whataburger of Alice. Now here's Bill Harrington with Laredo Lemurs post-game show.
All right, Lemurs fans, thanks for sticking around for the post-game show. Here's the Lemurs win this game by a final score of 7-6 over the Wichita Wingnuts. For the Lemurs, it was 7 runs on 9 hits. They made 4 errors today. They left 8 runners on base. Wichita had 6 runs on 8 hits. They made 2 errors, and they left 16 runners on base today. So they had plenty of opportunities, but the Lemurs were able to shut the door on them many, many times here in the ball game. The Lemurs started the game off by getting 3 runs in the first inning, and then in the bottom of the first, the Wichita Wingnuts came right back and tied it up at 3 apiece. And Willie Paredes was on the mound for the Laredo Lemurs. He ended up walking 4 batters in the first inning alone for the Laredo Lemurs, and we'll talk a little bit about Willie Paredes' outing here in just a second. And so the Lemurs and the Wingnuts were tied up at 3 apiece after 1 inning. Everybody went silent in the second. And then in the third inning, the Lemurs would come out, put up a run, and take a 4-3 lead at the time. But the Wichita Wingnuts were having none of that. They would come back and put up a 2 spot to go up 5-4. So the Lemurs in the 4th inning did not put up a run, but they would score the tying run in the 5th inning that knotted up at 5 apiece. And then the Laredo Lemurs would get the important 2 runs, one of them in the 8th inning, as reaching on a error was Juan Silverio, an error by the shortstop, and then Phil Pohl would pick up a single, and then Ty Morrison would pick up a double to bring home Juan Silverio. So the Lemurs at the time would have a 6-5 lead, and we would go into the bottom of the 8th inning. Nothing done there by the Wingnuts, but a very important inning for John Brebbia. Brebbia was on the mound. He hit Andy LaRoche. Then T.J. Middlestat reached on a walk to put runners at first and second. Then Harrison Kane came up to the plate. He led down a bunt, and it was supposed to be a sacrifice, but it turned into a base hit because Brebbia misplayed the ball. He thought he was going to come in and try to make the catch with the ball in the air. He decided against that and then ended up running around the ball, grabbed it, and threw it to first, and it was too late. So Kane reached first base, and that loaded the bases with nobody out. So Brebbia had some work to do. Well, he struck out Brent Dean, struck out Taylor Smart, struck out Leo Vargas, so he struck out the side with the bases loaded, and he sat down the Wichita Wingnuts and conserved the lead for the Laredo Lemurs, and the Lemurs would see a run be put up on the board there in the top of the 9th inning. Travis Denker would hit a solo home run to extend the lead to 2 runs, and the Lemurs would then be up 7-5. Well, in the bottom of the 9th inning, coming up to the plate with 2 down was David Espinoza. He'd hit a solo home run over the right field wall, and that would make it a 7-6 ball game. And then Andy LaRoche would come up. LaRoche would make the final out of the game on a 6-3 put out at first base, and that would be the ball game. So an exciting one here, a long ball game. In fact, man, it was a doozy today. 3 hours and 35 minutes in front of a crowd of 2,191 people. And Willie Paredes, I was going to tell you about what he did here. He did not factor in the decision, but he goes 2 2/3. He gives up 3 hits as the starting pitcher. He gave up 5 runs, 4 were earned, but here's the big number. He walked 9 batters, and he struck out 2. Yeah, there was 9 batters that he walked, is a new league record. So the previous record was 8, and that was held by several pitchers. So now Willie Paredes is up on top, and he holds that record all by himself, and I'm sure not a record that he would like to have. The Lemurs ended up walking 11 total batters today, and that's well shy of the record of 18 batters walked in one ball game by two teams in the American Association, or by one team in the American Association in one ball game. So nonetheless, the Lemurs end up coming back, getting the win by a final score of 7-6, and a nice victory here for the Laredo Lemurs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard and see how everything else shakes out in the American Association today. And we have to wait for the computer to refresh here in just a second. So overall, a good day for the Lemurs, but man, a long game on tap for us here today. So the Joplin Blasters have won their game, and the Kansas City T-Bones played the Blasters, so they lost. So Joplin wins 6-5 over Kansas City. Amarillo 12, Grand Prairie 2, that's a final. Sioux Falls and St. Paul, they're just about ready to get going, and so are Sioux City and the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Fargo, they beat Gary 12-3 today, and that's the other final in the books. Another one for you, Ottawa 7, Winnipeg 6. So a quick look at the standings to see where everything breaks down after today's ball game for the Laredo Lemurs and the Wichita Wingnuts. So the Lemurs are now back 6 games in the South Division. Still an uphill climb for them to try to win the division here. I really think the Lemurs' attention is focused on the wild card race right now. The Lemurs have the Joplin Blasters back a game, and with the loss to the Kansas City T-Bones, or for the Kansas City T-Bones, they're now going to be back, I believe, 2.5 in the wild card standing. So Joplin's still hanging around. They're only a game back in the wild card race. So that's going to do it for today's broadcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a long one here today with all the walks. That can be a little frustrating on everybody's end, for sure, to watch that happen. And I'm sure the most frustrated had to be Willie Paredes for the Laredo Lemurs. So the Lemurs win today by a final score of 7-6. We're going to go ahead and call it a day. Remember, we'll be back at home tomorrow, so we'll be on AmericanAssociationBaseball.tv. So make sure you tune in there. We're on the other website, AmericanAssociationBaseball.tv, and we'll go ahead and post that on Twitter for you before the ball game tomorrow night. And, the Lemurs are going home. 7:15 for the pregame show, 7:30 for the first pitch tomorrow night. Once again, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 first pitch. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the ball game, and we'll see you tomorrow night from Laredo, Texas.
Thanks for joining us for Laredo Lemurs Baseball, brought to you by Popeye's Chicken, AEP Texas, Armadillo Homes, Ascending Technologies, Ashley's Furniture of Laredo, Capital Care EMS, Chavarias Plumbing, Core Business Solutions, Driscoll Health Plan, Falcon International Bank, Family Chevrolet, Gold's Gym, Guerra Communications, HEB, iGadget Repair Center, Kaplan College, Laredo International Airport, Laredo Pony League, Laredo Sports Medicine, Mike's Paint Place, Pepsi, Pro Mega Signs, Southern Distributing, Southern Sanitation, Talk and Talk Wireless, TAMU Housing and Residence, Texas Farm Bureau, Texas Inflatables, Texas Outlaw Grill, Tokyo Garden, Total Termite Pest and Control, Uni-Trade Forwarding, Whataburger of Alice. Join us next time for all your Laredo Lemurs action.